I'm glad we are live. You know, that is the beautiful thing about having your own outlet on YouTube here. You can go live practically anytime you want to talk about anything you want, and it is an absolute beautiful thing. It is currently 10:36 p.m. Central Standard Time over here in the Midwest, and we just had the Apple event earlier today, and Apple, they had a presentation about the Apple Watch Series 5. And there are people out there who have some issues with the way Apple presented the Apple Watch. So I'm going to come on here and podcast about this tonight because I'm not quite understanding what the hubbub is. Got my man Zach Talk Tech in here who will be joining me in a few minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and get my intro in and we're going to roll out. And I think I'm on 35. So we're on episode 35. Cool bean. So let me go to work here. So, we just had an Apple event today, and at the Apple Watch presentation portion of the event, people were accusing Apple of fear-mongering and using scare tactics. I disagree, and I got somebody who disagrees with me. We getting it on. VypDrive episode 35 starts now. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech. And welcome back to another episode of VypDrive. This is the podcast about tech, hosted by the man about tech. And in a few moments, I will be joined by my dude, one of the nicest men in tech, Zach Talk Tech. Now, me and Zach have a slight disagreement, which we will discuss on the podcast here very shortly. But what is really at the crux of what's going on here is the Apple event today and the Apple Watch presentation portion of the event. Now, as per Apple's usual, Apple normally gets they put on their events, and in the event, Apple really likes to highlight how their products benefit their customers. So sometimes you might see clips of their customers using their products in the wild, or in the case of today's presentation with the Apple Watch, they have people telling their stories of how the Apple Watch has impacted their lives, et cetera, et cetera. Normally, this is not really a big deal, but for whatever reason today, everybody's getting all up in a roar about it. But let me bring in my man, Zach Talk Tech, so we can talk about what is going on. So let's bring him into the stream, or let's bring him into the podcast, I should say, right now. Zach, what's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Good. First of all, I want to make really clear, because there's a couple comments on Twitter. I can't remember the last time you and I ever fought, and I don't think we're fighting. I think it's just a very passionate differing of opinions. I respect you and I love you. You know that. You're my friend.
We're not fighting. We have a difference of opinion. That's about it.
So let's be really clear. And this is good conversation. This is kind of stuff that everybody should be doing. Okay. I came in hot on your comments. I'm not going to edit anything. It's up to you if you want to keep it. Okay. I don't think I was insulting. So no. I just passionate. And I'm not going to remove anything from Twitter because I don't believe in that either. So let's just be really clear about that.
I'm not removing anything either. So what's up?
Yeah. So go ahead and I'll expand on more about what we discussed so far and everything. Go ahead.
All right. So what I was talking about in the intro, we had the Apple event today. When we got to the Apple Watch portion of the event, Apple showed some video clips of real life Apple Watch owners telling their stories about how the Apple Watch has impacted their life. We had one lady who had her life and her unborn baby's life saved by an alert on the Apple Watch. It alerted her to a high heart rate. She went to the doctor and discovered that she might have been close to having atrial fibrillation. So the doctor was able to prevent that. So we had that story. We had another story of an older guy who the Apple Watch detected that he fell. So when he fell, the watch detected that he fell. It alerted emergency authorities that he got to him, and they took him to the hospital, and he was okay. And then I think there was another picture of a guy who lost weight using his Apple Watch. So these are all feel-good stories of people having positive impact with the Apple Watch. This is nothing out of the ordinary for Apple, but Zach and other people similar to Zach thought that Apple, because of the way they presented these stories, they were using scare tactics and fear mongering as it relates to marketing the Apple Watch. And I just disagree with that. But that's why I brought Zach on here on the podcast tonight so he could tell me where he's coming from with his stance.
Okay, so let's be very clear. As I've replied and told people today, and I know that you can tell the difference, but in your video, to be fair, and you do this well, you kind of went back and forth, and that's fine because that's I'm not saying back and forth on opinions. I'm talking about the kind of marketing versus facts. Okay, so last year was the first year of this new revolution Apple Watch, like the scanning and the heart, and it just got better. Okay, I don't dispute that. I don't dispute what the Apple Watch does well. I don't dispute the whole ring. I think it's great. I told you this since last November, since I returned my Series 4. I kind of wish I kept it. Now I'm getting the Series 5. Okay, that's a different topic. Okay. And I'm really excited about that. What I have a problem with is, and I know this is because of a personal level, because of what's happened to me this year, and I'm more than happy to expand and talk about that here so people understand where I'm coming from. And I guess that could be chalked up to Zach's and his feelings. Okay, but when you stop going with the facts and start going on an emotional level, it triggers people. You and I do it all the time with our videos. I almost returned the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus because until I found this nifty feature. That was my topic. That video has over 1,000 views, which is really great for my channel. We both do it. We want to get that click. Okay, so we're guilty. We're both guilty. I think everybody's guilty of YouTube or anything. Right. My problem is the presentation style. Okay, because of the things that happened with me this year. Now you know a lot. You don't know everything, but on 3 separate occasions this year, I almost died. Okay. I have you named in my will. You don't know that. I have you. I have Jeff, I have Roberto, and I have Jason in there. Okay. I'm not lying to you. Okay. I know I have your information. Okay. I got you guys named in there, and like, if something happened, you were going to get my iPad and my MacBook. Okay. So anyway, sorry. So when they rolled that video, I'm like, cool. All right. Because I like Apple marketing. You did a video last year. What are your favorite things about Apple? Right. One of them for me, when I answered you and we did that series of videos, I think there's other creators or anything. I said, I really enjoyed their marketing. I always love their marketing, even though I'm not an Apple fan. Sorry. So when they ran that video, it really hit me here. Okay. And they did it so well, and it's so true. And I'm not getting the Apple Watch because my doctor told me to. I've lost 60 pounds since January. So I'm down to 348. I was like 408 before, or something like that. I'm a big guy. You know that. So it's just, I watched it and I'm like, why did they go that emotional route? But it seems like that's the way that a lot of marketing goes. Like I said, I don't dispute what the watch does. I don't dispute the results. I don't dispute the facts. It's proven. They do it well. I just was not a big fan of the presentation style. But you know what? That's my personal thing because of the way it hit me. Obviously, I know you had your heart thing, right?
Right.
3 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the commercial spoke to you a different way. Not everybody's going to agree with me. I'm getting really, of all the things today to get upset about, that you could get upset about, this is probably the dumbest thing.
All right, I'm going to ask you a very personal question. You can
go ahead.
To answer it.
I'm an open book tonight.
You can choose to answer it or not. It's up to you. But
Yep.
when you almost died the 3 times, did you have an Apple Watch? Were you wearing an Apple Watch?
I wasn't wearing anything.
Okay.
So I have a Galaxy Watch. It's cool and everything, but it sucks compared to an Apple Watch.
So, okay, this is really going to be kind of harsh, but we got to do it because it is what it is.
Sure.
So the presentation today at the keynote was alluding to and highlighting people who are actual Apple Watch owners who were impacted by the watch. So when you say that you disagree with the presentation and then you speak to your 3 near-death experiences, and I just ask you were you wearing an Apple Watch and you tell me no, my next question, harshly or not, is, okay, so how does that presentation affect you when you weren't wearing an Apple Watch. Now, if
No.
you were wearing an Apple Watch and something happened, then that's one thing. But
Yep.
you just told me that you were not wearing an Apple Watch, so I'm confused.
So okay, and I think this is where the mix-up's happening. I don't need to wear an Apple Watch in order to prevent those 3 times. I'm talking about the way it was presented. Okay, I'm not disputing and saying that the lady with the baby. I'm not saying that that's not true. Okay, I'm talking about the music, the ambiance, the way things were presented, the way people were talking. You can't tell me there were multiple times, multiple takes of the video. We know how marketing works. Okay, I'm not disputing the results and what it does well. I don't need an Apple Watch to lose weight, to become healthier. I've done that this year by cutting out crap, less carbs, going for walks, standing when I'm working, things like that. I still got a long way to go, and I still might. I've already had surgery twice this year on my insides. I still might be having the bariatric surgery later on this year or later on next year. Still gonna find out. Okay, that's where they like shrink down your stomach. That's what Boogie had done. I'm talking about the presentation style and the way it was done. It was, and you know what? I'll admit it. It was done very well because here we are talking about it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I didn't have the foresight to recognize what they were doing and doing well, I would have been on the website right away ordering a watch. And as soon as the keynote was over anyway, I did order my watch. Okay, I was going to anyway. It's so hard because I'm talking about the specific style in which it was. Like I think so. You asked me in a tweet, you know, how would they have done it? Okay, so last year they talked about results and this surgeon group and the doctors and all endorsed and everything like that. Okay, cool, right? So how would I have presented it? I still would have presented the stories, but I don't know if I would have gone that emotional. But I understand. And to an extent, I guess I kind of agree with the way Apple presented it now that I think about it a little bit more. I just, like I said, it just hit me from an emotional standpoint from just what I've been through in the last, 9 months or whatever it's been. Does that make any sense? I mean, I don't think it does. Maybe it does.
Yeah, it makes sense, but the issue is that you're not coming from a position of strength when you're disagreeing with me.
I'm not trying to. I'm trying to tell you how it made me feel and why I disagree with it.
No, but the problem is that you're saying that Apple is using fear mongering and scare tactics, and I'm telling you that the presentation was results.
And it was. I'm talking about the presentation style. I don't know how else to. Sorry, go ahead.
So you just said that if I asked you on Twitter, I asked you what would you have done differently, and you just said that you would have still presented the story, but you would have left out some of the emotion. But how do you leave out the emotion? Because when you're talking about potentially having your life saved, that is the story, and that's the result.
And that's the thing. I'm the worst at going back and forth with stuff like this, especially on some emotional topics, because the one side of my brain says, this is how marketing works, and this is how you get through to people, and this is how you get results, this is how you get the click, this is how you get people to watch stuff. And then there's the other side of my head going, don't fall for this. They're just trying to sell you, shiny and new, do you know what I mean? And it's difficult. It's why I'm not in marketing. So,
but here's the thing, though. At the end of the day, no one is forcing you to buy an Apple Watch. Buying an Apple Watch is a choice. So no matter how they market it or no matter how they present it, the ultimate choice lies within you and your wallet. Either you want it or you don't. Either you buy it or you don't. So however Apple choosing to present that product, you can't really call it fear mongering and scare tactics when the presentation is true. Like I said in my video tonight, it's not marketing when the results are true. Those are the results. That lady who got her life saved by the watch, that's not marketing. That's result.
I know. But so again, going back to your question about how, Zach, how do you think they could have how do you think they could have presented it? I guess I was just looking for more factual type things, maybe a doctor sitting there or a nurse or something like that saying from these different states saying we had X amount of people come in with watches with these issues. But again, we saw them do that last year, right? And when you're telling stories about people's results, whether these are real people, we don't know whether these are real people or actors acting out, maybe letters or emails that were sent into Apple. I guess it's hard to separate that emotional connection, because that's exactly what the video was supposed to do. And it did.
Unless you think these people are liars,
I never said that.
Right, I'm just saying, unless you think they're lying and they're all actors, everything that happened on that stage today is fact, which means those are tangible results. Like emotions aside, those are facts. Those are results of what the watch can do. The watch has an ECG feature on it, so it can detect a high heart rate or a low heart rate. It has a fall detection feature on the watch to detect if you fall and contact emergency services if you fall. These are features of the watch. And those stories that happened today on stage are a result of the features on the watch. So no matter how they presented emotions or not emotions or babies or not crying babies, everything that happened on the stage today is results. And results are facts. And as I keep telling you all year, the facts don't care about your emotions. The facts don't care about your opinions. The facts don't care about your brand loyalty. The facts are just the facts. And the results that were presented today at the keynote, those are results which are facts.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't dispute those facts. Now I'm going to get the watch, and it's supposed to be delivered between the 27th and the 2nd of June. Okay, I checked the dates on all of them. If between now and next year, I'm in better shape than I was, because I plan on using the watch for a full year. I'm gonna be using the phone a lot more and a watch a lot more than I was, over a course of a month last year. I'll eat my words. You can mark this date, September 10th next year. Mark it in your calendar. So I stand behind what I said. Maybe I just need to experience it for myself. But like I said, I don't dispute the facts and what was presented. It's just the presentation style. What does John saying? Personally, I don't think.
All right, so we got our buddy John Proctor in the chat. Let's pull up his comment. He said, personally, I don't think we should ever give a company crap for trying to put safety between someone and potential health risk. Yeah, and like I keep telling Zach, everything that happened on the stage today is fact. It doesn't matter if you think it was a good presentation or fact or fear mongering or scare tactics. Excuse me, I can't talk. Everything that happened on the stage today was fact. Those are actual results of those people owning and wearing an Apple Watch. And like I said, I can personally attest to this because I wear one, and I've had the thing go off for high heart rate alerts a couple of times. Now, luckily, I was okay because I went to the doctor and I got real ECG read. But that's the other thing that I pointed out in my video tonight. The Apple Watch is not a certified medical device, and Apple never touted it as a certified medical device. So no matter how they present it, no matter how much emotional crap they put into their presentation, they tell you up front it is not a medical device. So you can't take that. You can't take that, whatever it tells you, as Bible to your medical condition. You have to still go to a doctor and have a physical consultation before you decide what to do about your medical condition. The Apple Watch is not a certified medical device.
And I keep on repeating myself because things keep on getting a little bit mixed up here. I'm not disputing the facts. I'm not disputing the stories. The presentation style. But I understand why they did that. Like John says here, you don't need an Apple Watch to save your life, but we can argue that increases the chances for some. I absolutely agree. Completely agree. And we've seen Greg's gadget. He lost a ton of weight and everything like that. So, I'm not disputing it. It helps. And sometimes it gives people the extra push. I'm just talking about today's presentation style, of that specific video. So
I think LeBron brings up a good point here. He says that he thinks that it's a case that the story hit home because of your situation. And I think he's exactly right. Like you mentioned earlier in the podcast, you had those near-death experiences. So when they presented that watch that way, it hit you kind of a way. And that's the point of the marketing. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and I agree with that, and I acknowledge that. So, like I said at the top of the podcast here, if I came in hot and heavy, there's nothing personal, I hope.
Now, okay, now we have an interesting comment from Andrew Edwards. He says if you don't own an Apple Watch, it increases your chance of death. Now, I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, we were living long before Apple Watches were ever a thing, so I don't think that it increases your chance of death. But it doesn't hurt to have an Apple Watch, no doubt about it. But to say that not only one increases your chance of death,
Oh.
like I said in the video, we all die regardless. Whether you own an Apple Watch or you don't own an Apple Watch, your ultimate end is death. It doesn't matter. So I don't know if I agree with that. But
and for the people thinking ironic and everything like that, this is 60 calories. It's Perrier with strawberry and kiwi. Okay, so it's not a Coke or something.
Oh, Andrew said that was a joke. Okay, I'm about to say, I don't know. I don't agree with that, Andrew. Okay, I got you.
Can Andrew get on? I would love to kind of go down this rabbit hole a little bit more. Even John, I haven't watched this video yet.
They're always invited, but I think Andrew's probably having too much fun in Cupertino, and John is probably pants off for the night.
Okay, I need to watch this stuff.
But the other thing that you need to know is that I will never make a dedicated video to come at you. That will, like I said, no respect to you, or with all due respect to you, that will be a waste of my time.
Yeah. I apologize for accusing you of that. If you want me to go back and edit the comment, I will.
No, don't edit anything.
Okay. I should not have, but like I said, this is so stupid because I'm so in my feelings right now. Like, I'll admit it, right? Yeah, I apologize, man. I didn't mean to come off hot and heavy like that. So.
I mean, we that's the beautiful thing about the tech community. We will not always agree. We will have disagreements, but if we're able to come together and talk it out, then this is the way it's supposed to be done. Instead of us just being mad for nothing, man. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But the reason why I made the video tonight is because I saw a bunch of people up and down my Twitter timeline sharing that sentiment, and I just disagreed. So I'm like, I need to put this video out here just to highlight it. Especially considering that I am an Apple Watch owner and I do have that experience having to go to the doctor because of a high heart rate reading. So
I only saw it for myself. So you and I follow or whatever, get the same kind of, a lot of the same people. So that's why I thought it was me, because I went through my stuff after and I'm like, he must be talking about me. I apologize. Yeah.
No, I was not talking about you. Like, if there was a group of people with that sentiment that Apple was using fear-mongering and scare tactics, I'm thinking to myself, since when did results become making people scared and fear-mongering? It's results. It actually happened. Apple didn't make it up. People actually have their lives saved and had falls detected by use of an Apple Watch. This is not fiction. This is not emotion. It's fact.
It's just the present. Like I said, that's the last time I'm going to say it. It's just the presentation style. But again, that's just like Baron said, it was just because of my personal experience and everything like that. And I'm more than happy to expand and talk more about that if you want. I'm an open book if people want to know. So
I don't know if I want to get too much into your personal buildings. I don't think it's in the time or place. But what I will talk to you about is let's talk about some things that you did like from the keynote today, because obviously there was a lot more going on than the Apple Watch presentation. So what were your favorite parts of the keynote?
I'm excited about getting my son an iPad.
Ooh, that was good.
My wife and I, we talk, and we just have like my computer here, and we have an old HP upstairs that's just horrible. And I was saying to her last night, I said, I hope Apple comes out with something. Otherwise, we'll look at Google and get like a Chromebook or something like that, because he uses Chromebooks at school. So when they drop the $329 price, which I think is going to translate to $429 Canadian, when you tack on the keyboard, $500, that's pretty damn good, you know? And, you know, he just got a desk. He just entered grade 3, and we don't want him to fall behind or anything like that. So unless Google wows us with something, we'll be getting him that, and my daughter will get the old iPad. So that impressed me. The watch did to a certain point. The iPhone 11 will be the biggest seller this year coming up, just like the R was. And that's pretty much it.
All right. So I just saw, I'm sorry, I'm a little late on it, but I just saw that we will indeed be having another guest on the podcast tonight, Mr. Andrew Edwards. The link is in your Twitter DM, so check it out to your convenience and come on in, man.
Cool. What did you like?
I like I've been telling people all year that they can skip the iPhone 11, but I did appreciate the camera presentation today. It seems like, especially with the iPhone Pro models, and even the iPhone 11 model, it seems like Apple is making big strides in the camera department. All sorts of new computational photography tricks and deep fusion and things like that. That stuff interests me because I'm always taking pictures with my phone camera. So if Apple can at least go toe-to-toe with the Pixel devices as far as computational photography, that makes me very excited, because iPhones have been lagging behind the Android competition for like the last 5 years in picture quality. So I'm hoping with these upgrades that Apple can finally maybe catch up, if not surpass Google, at least go strive with Google in their computational photography on the Android side. I'm excited about that.
It's really interesting because when we watched the Note thing, they kind of presented the Note 10 and 10 Plus especially, as being like a creator's device. And I recorded some things around my house today. I'm actually doing a comparison between Gamer Sup's shakeable drink and G Fuel and everything like that. So I took like 4 different videos with the phone, and here I'm thinking I can go into the editor and take video from here to there and cut things up and everything and just put something out on Twitter for like 2 minutes, right? You can't do that in the Samsung editor. Not that I could find. I could only cut and everything of an existing video. So I'm going to have to come back here and do it. And then Apple wowed us today with the Filmic stuff. Holy crap. Like
Wow.
the other 2 different angles with the same phone.
No,
Dude,
and they're using all the lenses, like 3 lenses. They use all of them at the same time. At the same time, Zach. Like, what?
I know. And like I told Jason over on the Painfully Honest podcast there, you can't tell me Rode and Deity is already looking at this going, okay, we got to make mics for this, right? Like for these new ones. And like, that's how you speak to creators. Like when I go out and film the ballistic thing next week, I'm doing all my recording on the 10R and the Samsung, but I'll have the new Pro with me, which is ironic because I want to use that to film. I'll probably do some other stuff where you don't see the phone, but like, that's how you get to creators. I mean, we've seen our friend Jeff do everything forever with a cell phone. Right, he's actually back. I think he's back to a cell phone now from the Nikon, right? And I mean, there's no excuses now. There hasn't been for 2 years, right? It's
no doubt.
Yeah.
And let me bring in my other guest on the podcast this evening, Mr. Andrew Edwards. How you doing, man?
What's up? What's happening? Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. How you doing?
Look at that. Nice.
It's better than usual. Are you you're in your hotel?
Yes, it's because we're not using Hangouts anymore.
Yeah. What hotel you in? Don't tell the actual address, but like what name?
It's called the AC. It's a Marriott subsidiary.
Oh, okay.
Like,
There you go.
Actually, when I checked in, they were like, "This is like our 3rd day open, so everything's like brand new."
Oh, that's what's up.
Is it close?
Is
it close to the donut?
It's about like 3 miles.
Okay, that's not bad. Just grab an Uber and where you go. Hey.
Yep.
Nice.
So Andrew, you heard the first 15, 20 minutes of the podcast. What are your thoughts on the way Apple presented the Apple Watch today?
So this is just now. I have never had a crazy health scare. I think the craziest, actually.
May I ask?
Yeah.
Like, what's your current and what's the most weight you've ever been? Because you're a bigger guy.
My current weight is 215.
Mm-hmm. God, I do an ATV 215.
The most I've ever weighed is probably 230.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So. Actually, the only health scare that I've had was like where I thought something crazy was happening was actually turned out to be kidney stones.
Oh, those are brutal.
Is apparently more painful than childbirth according to doctors. That's not just me saying that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is something I deal with maybe once a year or something for a couple of days. And the last time, so oddly enough, the last time it happened was the day of WrestleMania 34 when I was like in another city going to the show. I was like, oh, I got to go to the hospital. This is crazy. And then the next time after that was today. So I was like in the keynote dying.
Oh my God.
So I like the connection there was like, does it have something to do with travel, or am I not like drinking enough, or like am I like dehydrated or whatever? Because that's usually what happens. But the first time it happens, you feel like, did my appendix just burst? Like, am I on the verge of death? That's how bad it is. Then you realize it's not that big a deal. It's just painful. But what I would say is, Zach was talking about like the emotion, right?
The presentation style.
Right. Now, the presentation style was similar to how you were talking earlier about what happened to you. You got emotional, right?
Yeah.
Now, my belief is if someone is talking about something like that happened to them, they're going to naturally get emotional.
Yep, I'll admit that.
If Apple were to edit out that emotion, they are depriving those people of their of telling their real experience. I'm assuming we're not like, you know what, I'm going to get emotional right now in order to get my point across. It just happens, right?
No, it just
naturally happened.
I would
say that probably naturally happened with these other people. And Apple's like, we have to genuinely, respect their story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If they're getting emotional, we just have to leave, like, that's them. This is real. This is raw. And I think it would be more wrong of them to edit around it in order to not be perceived as trying to use that emotion, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. I'm not generally a very I mean, I like to hug people, but I'm not. I don't generally show my emotions a lot. And I think that's probably a guy thing. It's very much a thing in my family. You don't talk about mental illness. You don't talk about, you know what I mean, right? The kind of things that are kind of still nowadays taboo, but we're breaking barriers. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah.
So, Andrew, you were at the spaceship at Cupertino today for the event. So what was your favorite part of the keynote today?
Man, it's so different being there in the room. Like you don't get the different camera angles. You don't get the, like when you're watching it at home, you get like the full screen where they're like, hey, we're going to show you an ad that we created or something like that. And like we're watching it like almost like we're in the movie theater. So it's such a different experience. It's kind of weird. It's like you're at a concert or like an you know, some sort of event rather than just information. So some of it is also hard to follow because I would say I didn't know this until today. When you're watching these events and like every time Apple says something that looks cool, like it sounds like the crowd like erupts into applause. That's actually the Apple employees that are applauding. So the front, like 1/3 of the room, I'm assuming is like Apple employees and like VIPs. So like Al Gore or whatever.
It looked like it was empty from some shots I saw from people, like the front rows.
No, I don't know about the front rows, but it was packed.
Yeah.
And the last 2/3 is probably all journalists, right? So whenever applause would happen, it was always from down below because all the journalists are either typing or they have both hands on their phones trying to take pictures or record.
Clever.
So when people are, like, I've always seen people online like all these all the press people are so unprofessional. You shouldn't be cheering at an event that you're, you know what I mean? But it's like that's actually not what's happening. They're not cheering. It's the employees who are like genuinely excited about their product being launched.
There's a couple times today I felt like I was watching the Samsung thing from last year. You can clap now. You can clap. Right?
Andrew dropping all the deets of an Apple event. So in actuality, it's the Apple employees making all that noise and not the people in attendance.
right. Which is the way it should be. Like I think the employees should be proud of what they've accomplished, and I think
absolutely
should be there to be more impartial and get work done. Which most people there, like I said, they're typing, they're writing their stories, or they're trying to get photos or videos to make their content later. And so yeah, that's how it should be.
All right. So, but you still didn't answer my question though. What was your favorite part of the keynote?
My favorite parts, man. Well, I guess my favorite announcement, quite honestly, was when they did the whole Apple TV Plus thing. Because it was very interesting to me, number one, that everybody got it wrong. Nobody, leaked or announced or, had this story that, first of all, it's going to be $5 a month, including, you and 5 other family members, all for that one same price.
6 people?
6 people.
That's incredible, actually. I thought it was only 4.
They can all have their own streams and everything.
Wow.
And then second of all, if you buy an iPhone, if you buy a Mac, if you buy an iPad, you get a year free, a whole year.
Yeah. Yep.
So everybody was talking about how Apple TV Plus is going to be a failure. And I kept trying to tell people, regardless of the price, this was when we thought the price would be $10.
Yeah.
I was saying, you can't look at streaming TV the same way you look at traditional TV. Traditional TV, you have, let's say 5 networks put on a show, and someone comes in last place, you're in trouble because all the other shows are beating you in the ratings. In the streaming wars, none of that matters. It doesn't matter if more people watch Stranger Things than watch Game of Thrones. What matters is Stranger Things profitable for Netflix, yes or no? That's it. Is Game of Thrones profitable for HBO, yes or no? If the answer is yes, we keep going. If the answer is no, we cancel the show. It has nothing to do with comparing to each other, though. It doesn't matter. So as long as Apple TV Plus is profitable on whatever timeline Apple sets, that's all. It doesn't matter if every other streaming service makes more money or has more users. If it's profitable, it's a win. If it's not profitable, it's a loss. That's how it goes. So seeing them using it as a, it's almost like there's a pre-launch. Who's not going to buy an iPhone, or an iPad or a Mac, like one of these hardware products over the next year? They sell a ton. They sell more smartphones than any other company. So all these people are going to have a year's access at no additional cost to Apple TV Plus, which gives Apple time and runway to build up their catalog month by month by month. And by the end of that 1 year, because they did not say if this was like an ongoing thing, like does every year you buy an iPhone just give you this service for free forever? I don't think it's going to be like that. But it still gives them the opportunity to get to where, now we're going into season 2 of some of these shows next year. And if you liked 2, 3, or 4 of these shows over the course of the year, you may then decide, okay, $5 for my family, fantastic.
Yeah, I'll admit, I think I was one of the people that definitely compared to like Netflix and Disney. But when I started seeing more of the trailers, especially today, if Apple can do so for example, like Netflix always has like a hit every few months, Bird Box, then Stranger Things, but it's not consistent. Like they rely on their syndication, Friends, Office. By the way, I tried watching The Office, and I didn't find it funny.
You have to go to season 2. You have to start from season 2.
Okay, season 2. So I think if Apple can really tap in and do hit, like people will pay that $5. Hell,
Right.
They'll even pay 10. Right. So if they can get the people's thinking, like, how every couple of months you wonder why you have Netflix and then they have a hit show. What if you could turn on Apple TV and it's always a hit show?
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many times we've all done this. We've gone through Netflix for 15 minutes on a Friday night and like there's nothing freaking to watch. Right?
Correct. Yep. Right.
How many times have I watched The Goonies in the last month? God.
Yeah,
right?
No doubt. So Andrew, I understand what you're saying about not comparing it to other streaming services. We have to see how profitable it is for Apple. Yep. But at the same time, we can't ignore that there are a ton of other services out there on top of Apple's other services that are competing directly with Apple TV in the eyes of the consumer. So in that way, it is kind of competing with everything else, plus Apple Music, iCloud, everything else that Apple trying to do, Apple Arcade, things like that. So there's a lot of competition out there.
Let me clarify what I was trying to say. It's not that they're not competing against each other. They are all competing against each other. What I'm saying is the results of the competition mean different things. So NBC, CBS, Fox, ABC, right? If you have a show, all of you have a show at 8 p.m. on Friday night. One of you is coming in first, one is second, third, and fourth. And fourth place better not be fourth consistently, otherwise they're canceled and they're gone. So that's what that competition means on traditional TV. On streaming, if less people watch Stranger Things than watch Game of Thrones, that doesn't mean Stranger Things is getting canceled.
Right.
Like, HBO doesn't even know how many people watch Stranger Things. So all I'm saying is that the competition is still there. People are still going to choose with their pocketbooks. But the results of that competition don't mean that something is going to be unsuccessful just because something else is more successful, the way it does mean that in traditional TV.
Right. And besides the fact that people watch when I should say,
if not the Google,
whoops,
drive with Google.
That's my phone. Sorry. That's I don't know what just happened here. Okay, sorry.
Sounds like you're listening to me.
It's like your ringtone. Andrew, pick up your phone.
So what I was trying to say is that it's different with streaming services because there's no set time to watch a service. Like it's like on demand. People go watch when they want. So in that way, you really can't like set one against the other anyway because people are watching at different times.
Yeah, right.
But now it's time for me to ask the hard questions, Andrew.
Okay.
Since you were there in person. So the hard question: are the iPhones as ugly in person as they look from afar?
This happens regularly. It's happened with the iPhone 5, 6, 10, and now the current ones. The iPhone 5, people said it was ugly because of that unibody. It was metal, and then the strip of glass at the top, glass at the bottom.
It's a gorgeous phone.
Right. So, but before it came out, it happens every time. Everybody says it's ugly because they see like the dummies, which the dummies are low quality. They're gonna look ugly.
So let me interrupt you real quick. I kept a spreadsheet. I have it right here. I can see it. The people that I documented on Twitter saying it's ugly, and I actually kept a link of their tweet. And
Okay.
now I'm checking to see what they say today. Like
That's
I would say probably a good 40% have.
That's funny. You know, the thing with this phone is when you have a dummy, I assume, do you both have those dummy units?
I
don't
do.
know.
Derp,
Yeah.
derp, derp,
Yep.
derp, derp.
Okay, so when you look at it, right, that
Yeah.
back glass and the camera area are two different pieces.
Yep.
On the
Yep.
actual phones, it's one
Yep.
continuous piece of glass. It looks really good. Also, what's interesting is I don't think they said this in the keynote, but so if you look at the regular 11, not the Pro, it has the glossy regular glass back,
Right.
and then the camera area is frosted glass.
Oh.
You could see that in the close-ups on the website, and Jason and I were
Okay.
talking about that tonight. Yeah,
And
it
then the
looks
opposite
good.
is frosted glass on the Pro, and then slick or whatever non-frosted glass on that camera. So it's like the reverse of each other.
Yep.
The phones look really good, and that green one, I'm not a fan of green. I don't like green. But that midnight green is so good. It looks so good.
I thought about I'm going to get the gray because I like it. And you know what I also noticed? It seems like the watch bands are bigger this year because last year when I bought my watch, it was only one size. It came in. Now you can customize. I ended up getting the Sport Loop after you told me to. I still have it, so I can use last year's band, which is awesome. I'm going to get the new metal. It's 210 mils around. My wrists are a little bit smaller because I've lost some weight. But yeah, I'm getting the titanium. I'm going to flex. I don't care.
Nice.
All right, so let me.
What are you getting, the Max?
What's that?
Yeah.
You're getting the Max, right? You're getting the Pro Max?
Yeah, I'm going to get the Pro Max.
And did you notice, I told Jason this, they only said iPhone 11 Pro Max 3 times during that part of the keynote, which tells me they're probably going to drop the Max name next year.
I don't know if it means that. I think what they're really trying to do,
just too much to say,
is they want to get across that these two devices are the same. So most people don't understand why they changed from Plus to Max. And the reason for that change was the iPhone 6 Plus, 7 Plus, 8 Plus were an iPhone 8 plus something additional that the smaller one does not have.
Oh.
Plus.
So in this case, it's just bigger.
Max is, yes, the exact same. It's just bigger. Bigger does mean we have a bigger display and bigger battery, but that's because of the difference in size.
So here I thought the whole time they just replaced the name. So you make sense of that. Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
So that's why they went from Plus to Max. Plus meant we have an additional camera, and there was, sometimes there was other things too.
I'm gonna quote you in my video on Thursday. Go on. Sorry.
Nice.
Oh. Let's not get it twisted though. Just because I don't think the phones look good, we put my pre-order in at 7 a.m. Central Time on Friday. So let's not make no mistake. And I'm putting a case on it anyway.
They look good when you saw the actual keynote. You were still of the impression that you don't think they look too good.
I mean,
I'm about functionality, so I don't care.
Right.
Like I've had square modules. Like I have a Mate 20 Pro. It's got a square module. To me, it's about the functionality. And I've said this so many times, and I hate repeating myself, but if you care, nobody cares what your phone looks like.
Sure.
And if you care that other people care about what your phone looks like,
you're wrong.
You're shallow. Those people are shallow. Get a life.
See, here's my thing though. Like before you told me what you told me earlier, Andrew, it looked like from afar that the camera module and the back glass of the phone are two different pieces of the glass. Like they don't look the same.
No, so they're the exact same piece of glass. However, what they did was they reversed the 11 and the Pro. So on the 11, they frosted the glass on the camera, and on the Pro, they frosted the back of the phone and did not frost the glass on the camera, just to make it look a little different. But it's still the same one piece of glass, so it's smooth. There's no like on the dummy phones, like you can feel like it feels like it's like stuffed into the glass, like it's a cutout, but it's not.
Can we also talk about how big those camera lenses look on those phones? My God, those things are massive.
I like that though. I mean, bigger lens. That's a good thing.
I'm going to share my screen, Viper. I don't know if you can put the three of us. There we go. So you can kind of see the frosted in the. Do you see that? Mm-hmm. We'll go to the next image here, but you can clearly see it's a little bit different color. I thought there was a cover on it when I was looking at TLD's video. But yeah, we'll go back here. You can clearly see.
Yeah, so that's the
it looks nice.
And also the little rings around the lenses are like Like, I think it looks way better than, again, those dummy phones made it look.
Oh, these are terrible.
Yeah. But that's the reference that people have been using to say, look how bad this looks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you haven't really seen what they're going to do with it.
Did you see it? Did you know what it looked like before today's? Can you tell us that or no?
Not officially. Apple doesn't do pre-briefings.
Okay.
Samsung will do, under embargo, we're going to show you the phone a day or two before.
Mm-hmm.
Apple doesn't do that. So I didn't know for sure what it would look like. No.
Okay.
So Andrew, I got to tell you, man, I'm a little mad, man.
What happened?
I made another video about this earlier today, but I'm mad that they changed the pre-order times, man. I'm mad, Andrew.
Why are you mad?
Because he's going to go to work on Friday.
No, I'm off on Friday, but I'm mad because I like the whole nostalgia of staying up until 2 a.m. and pre-order. And now anybody can pre-order an iPhone on
Most
Friday
people
morning.
don't like that though.
But you know what? We could do it, Viper. We could start at midnight and just talk until 6.
That's right.
It'll be. I'm down for it. I don't want to miss it.
For me, it's actually worse because I'm on the West Coast, and for me, it was like you just stay up till midnight, which I do every single day anyway.
Right.
So no difference. Now I have to set an alarm to wake up at 4:45 a.m. So that's no fun.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why they did it, but I hate it personally.
I think
we order watches. That was another thing. The watch went on pre-sale immediately after.
Right.
I think you should do a stream, man. Start it 2 hours before. We all set our alarms. We all come down in our pajamas and be like, okay, geek out for a bit. Then we'll order. Then we'll just go back to sleep. Why not, man? It'll be fun. An early morning stream. Hell yeah.
I might. We'll see. I might.
You guys order a watch? Either of you?
Yes, no. I ordered the. Where's my flex? I ordered. This is Canadian dollars. I ordered the Apple Watch Edition GPS Cellular 44 millimeter titanium case with black leather loop, large.
Regular
Canadian
titanium? The regular titanium?
Yeah, just a regular titanium with the black leather loop, large, 1,169 Canadian dollars.
I will not be flexing.
$200 Apple Care.
Okay.
Yeah, I will not be flexing. I'm happy with my Series 4.
And then the changes that they talked about was not enough for you to say, I need that.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not enough changes. Apparently the 4 is off the website, but if you go to the refurbished website, you can find the Series 4. Pro tip for everybody watching, listening: do yourself a favor. If you plan on pre-ordering, go tonight before Friday. Favorite what you plan on buying, for the phones, so that you can log in right away, hit favorite, pay and get out. I don't think it'll sell out like in years past. We haven't seen that for years.
Apple Pay, set that up.
Yeah.
Or if you don't use Apple Pay, set that up. Very simple.
Yep. True story. So
I also like the Pixel leaks today. I thought those were good.
Good Lord. That was just like a Hail Mary, more or less. Hey, Andrew, did you get a chance to take any pictures with the new iPhone today?
Yeah, I took several.
How did it look?
I took a Slow-Fi. The camera looks great. The one thing that we couldn't test live there, since the room is so bright and white, was dark mode. But I was able to, ask a lot of questions about dark mode, and they had a bunch of photos that they made sure to tell everybody every photo on these phones was taken with the phone and was not edited at all. It's just you shoot with the phone, and this is the photos that we got. So they wanted to make sure that people knew that it wasn't like, okay, take the photo. Okay, now see, we can brighten it a little bit with post-processing or anything like that. Well, automatic post-processing, yes, but there was no manual editing of any of the photos, and they look great. I mean, dark mode is automatic, which is nice. You can turn it off. So basically the way it works is you point the camera at something, it recognizes that it's dark, it turns dark mode on, and you see it in the top left corner. Dark mode turns on, and you can tap it to turn it back off if you want to take that photo as you see it, which I prefer way more than on my Pixel. I love the dark mode on the Pixel, but having to tap and go into the other section or swipe, it's just in the camera, whichever camera you happen to take.
The Galaxy S10 Plus did that before they added actual night mode, and it was really weird. Sometimes it would turn on, turn off. Sounds like Apple's got it down though. Yeah.
Now, Andrew, I put out a tweet that got some people ruffled a few feathers earlier today. Now, I don't know because I haven't had a chance to use the phone yet, but I said that if Apple gets the computational photography right, then the iPhone might be on par with the Pixel in terms of picture. What do you think, man? Having used the phone and taking a picture with it.
I think it's definitely so. First of all, For the average person out there, even the iPhone 11, not Pro, just the two lenses. Most people, they take out their phone, they point at something, they hit the shutter, put the phone away. Like, they're not like us, we're tapping, we're swiping, we're trying to, you know what I mean? So for most people, what Apple's doing and what Google was doing is just improving photos for you so that you don't have to be as much of an expert.
Yeah, and
pictures.
That's what I said before about that's why you pay a premium for a flagship device, so that it's kind of dummy proof. I hate using that term, but that's how I take probably 90% of my photos, and then I really compose and everything like that when I do Instagram, or at least I'm trying to now. And I'll put a filter on, but anything on Twitter or my videos is usually straight out of the camera. But yeah, you're right. Like, it's about the processing nowadays and just kind of making it dummy proof, right?
Yeah, and so now I don't know. Obviously we haven't seen the Pixel 4 like in our hands. It's the same thing. We're seeing these leaks, and none of the leaks are like, "Hey, let me take a few photos and show you how it works."
But I mean, compared to the Pixel 3, how do the pictures stack up compared to the
Pixel 3? It's really good. I would say it's on par. I mean, now this is just with me using the phones for like an hour. So you can't really, versus I've used the Pixel 3, for almost a full year. But the photos you're getting out of the new phone are so much better. Number one, you have extended dynamic range, which is better than high dynamic range. So you have way more colors to work with. So even just that makes the pictures look better on the displays. Secondly, you can now do portrait mode from the wide or telephoto lens on the Pro, whereas previously it was only with the telephoto lens you could do portrait, or the selfie camera.
Wow.
You can, since it's 12 megapixel now, the front camera can now do the thing where like you can crop in or zoom out to get more people in, and it automatically does it if you turn the camera sideways. It'll just pop out for you. And that has so the portrait stuff, all that computational stuff is vastly improved on these phones, both the 11 and the 11 Pro. But the 11 Pro is using all three lenses to create the image that you get, regardless of which lens you're trying to shoot with. So all three lenses are snapping a photo, and everything's being stitched together on the fly. A13 processor, and people are always like, why do we need these fast processors? Apple doesn't do anything with it. They are doing something with it. Every time you snap a photo, that processor is going to work. So it's not just about like launching your apps faster. It's about what is that processor doing in the background that you don't realize it's doing because it's so fast at making it happen.
That's the beauty of computers, right? That's the beauty.
Yeah.
So Andrew, I'm going to assume that you're getting one of the iPhone Pro models, right?
Yeah, I'm going to get, so my daily phone will be the Pro Max, and then I'll also get the 11 regular, just because, I'll have to do videos on that too. But the one that I'll use on a daily basis would be the Pro Max, which is crazy with that 5 extra hours. I don't know if I've ever seen a new so a generation to the next generation have that big of a leap from anybody, from any smartphone carrier. That's nuts. Like 5 hours.
Samsung slash their prices tomorrow. Hardcore.
Like imagine walking around with the bulky Apple battery case, right?
Right.
A lot of us do that because we want to get that extra several hours of battery life. Well, now your iPhone 11 Pro Max or your iPhone 11 Pro, 4 extra hours and 5 extra hours, it's almost like carrying it around with that battery case on it, but without the bulk.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that when I heard that, when I saw that today, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because usually I think, we'll be lucky if we get like an extra hour, if that, but they were like 4 or 5. I'm like, okay, you got my attention. You got my attention, Apple. That's what I'm talking about.
5 hours, like that's, I don't know what, I think last year's phone was either 6 or 7. So they basically increased the battery by 40%, which is nuts.
We didn't see any new AirPods announced today that we were all suspecting. Do you think we'll see like just a blog post and announcement later on this year?
I don't think it was time for AirPods, because when did the last ones come out?
Well, they were technically earlier this year with a rechargeable case and everything, right?
Yeah, that one. That's
so. I'm just talking about some of the leaked like pictures and all that we saw. Obviously, a lot of that didn't come true, because the last thing I heard yesterday was that it was just going to be 11 and 11 Pro, and there was going to be no Max. They were not going to use a Max name, but of course they did, right? So obviously, not all rumors are true,
right?
So.
No, I wouldn't expect. This is just me. I don't think I'd expect to see AirPods until spring.
Yeah, I would agree with Andrew. I think
could
it's
be
way
wrong.
too early. It is way too early.
Seems like it should be a
Because
product, though.
I
It
talked to my
seems like
friend.
AirPods should be an iPhone launch accessory every time there's a new one.
It's interesting because I talked to my friends at the distributor I used to work for in Montreal, and they can't even get in the first or second gen, and they keep on being told by Apple, just sell them out. Something else is coming this year.
Oh, okay.
But the last time they said that, nothing happened until 2 months later. Excuse me, and then we saw Gen 1.5 or whatever the heck you want to call it this year, right? So,
Yeah.
I know Apple holds their cards really close to their chest, especially with distributors, because they don't want leaks and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised that we didn't hear anything about the $499 price point or anything like that, because that's a service thing, and you can keep that
That's
closer
information.
to your chest. You don't have to worry about manufacturers and right. So, surprise.
Yeah.
So Andrew, again, I was like overall the event was awesome. I was digging the event, but I was kind of disappointed, Andrew, that we didn't get that one more thing. But I was mad about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, you could, because I was like looking around when he was, because he started saying, like his goodbyes and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I just look around, everybody's looking at each other, like, wait, what? Like,
I had to do the video, Mike. I know you saw it. So sorry.
So then I'm thinking, he's gonna do the thing where he's saying goodbye, and he's like, oh wait, I forgot. Which is what Steve Jobs used to do. The way Tim Cook does it is he'll just say we have one more thing. But Steve Jobs used to be like, okay, guys, thanks for coming. Oh, wait a minute, I totally forgot. There's one more thing. So I was like, oh, maybe he's gonna do that. Then he said bye, and I was like, oh, all right, well, okay.
We have to go now,
right?
Yeah, it was just I was waiting, then nope, we're gone. We're done. Like, dang.
Now there does have to be, I would assume, one more event this year, though.
Okay, so for what though? I mean, I know we're expecting a new MacBook Pro 16-inch, but
Pro, iPad Pro. They did not announce the Apple Tag thing, which obviously is meant for these new phones, because one thing they kind of glossed over it on stage is they support ultra wideband now, which means you can. So let's say the three of us were sitting in a room and I wanted to airdrop something to Zach, right? And if we both had iPhone 11s, if I point my phone in Zach's direction, my phone is going to know through ultra wideband technology that I more likely want to airdrop to him than to Viper. So, and that all ties back into the tags. Like if you have a tag and you lost something under the couch or whatever, pointing your phone towards that signal, it's going to lead you to that tag if it's lost. So these phones were built with that functionality, and so those things have to be coming. And that doesn't seem to be something that Apple just announces in a blog post. Like they want to show, here's how this works. You know what I mean? It has to be. I feel like there has to be something coming for the iPad Pro, the MacBook Pro, maybe the tags.
Well, you know what? So they wowed the general public, the general consumers today. I mean, for the most part, except for maybe tech guys like us. Maybe they got a pro type keynote thing coming down the line. Who knows?
And the Mac Pro has to ship too. We don't know when that's shipping. Like
that's right. Yeah.
There's still things that they have to. Yeah. So maybe iPad Pro.
I'd like to see a Mac Mini Pro, so I can take my MacBook Pro off here and actually use it for mobile and still keep my 35-inch widescreen. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to see that.
So, in an unusual turn of events, we have another guest coming to the podcast. My man, the Colonel Thunder E. Uh-oh.
Hey, I hope he has the beret on.
I don't think he's ready though.
All right, sorry, I'll be right there in a second.
Buddy. But
my camera isn't working for whatever reason.
I've never met. It's nice to meet your blocks.
Nice to meet you, man. I'll be right back.
My man coming in the cover of darkness.
He's night mode.
right. But okay, Xandro, here's my thing. I know we had these rumors and reports of new iPad Pro, but we just got new iPad Pros last year, though.
I love mine.
But I mean, Apple wants to have these things on a yearly cadence. So, and we got new iPhones last year too. So
yeah, but that's different though. We know phones are coming every year, but iPads, well, at least iPad Pros don't usually come like on a yearly basis though.
Well, there's only been a couple iPad Pros, so we only have 3. and there was between 1 and 2, there was more than a year, but it's because the first one and second one had that totally different body redesign, right?
Right.
But now that we have, I don't think they're going to change the whole, enclosure again. I say keep it on an annual cadence. Give us, don't skip processor years with the iPad. Don't go from 10 to 12 and skip 11, for example, which what happened last time. So give us that A13 power. Don't leave people on A12 for another year.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you something. So we thought there might be one more thing, and I thought it might be the AR glasses. So Andrew, do you know anything about the AR glasses? Do you think they're coming, or what do you know exactly?
They're definitely coming. Apple's definitely been working on that, and they've been working on that for years. And Tim Cook has said we are working. We are looking into and we are working on AR. And I think something came out today. I only saw a headline and an image, but there's an image in the latest iOS beta that basically shows how it's an image that's related to the headset, basically. So the headset is coming. I don't know if that means I don't think we're seeing it this year, but it is something that they're certainly working on. I don't know if it would have been the one. I don't know what the one more thing would have been, quite honestly. But whether it was that, or whether it was something car related, or whether it was Apple's take on a foldable device. But that's part of the excitement. Is what does Apple have that we don't know about? And I guess today it was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
It was a fairly safe keynote.
Yeah, but it wasn't nothing too major. But let's try to bring my man, the Colonel, back in.
Bring him back in. Boom!
We got camera.
Sorry about that. I was using my A7 III with Camlink. Camlink isn't working well, so I had to pull up my webcam.
Man, I know.
Which is a bit fuzzy here, by the way. There he is. Much better.
You look good.
He had to give it that wipe down for dramatic effect. What's up, E? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I jumped on YouTube. I saw you had, the podcast running, and I see Andrew there. So I'm like, all right, let me chime in,
Come on in.
Bring in my negativity as usual.
I was just about to say, you are not typically an Apple person, so I'm guessing you did watch the keynote, though. So what did you think about it?
I mean, it was more exciting than last year's for me.
Yes, definitely.
I will say I wanted to bring up one point to Andrew with the 6 hour battery life, or 5 hours extra.
5 hour, yeah.
I really don't care, because the batteries are usually terrible. Battery life for iPhones are not great. If you don't have a battery pack or power charger or something, so I'm thinking it's going to be better, which is good, but it's not nowhere near any of the devices I use. So at least for iPhone users, like my girl, it's fine, but at least she doesn't have to carry a pack anymore. I'm not too excited yet until I see it in action.
Yeah, the one thing about this is, for most people, Apple is, I assume, more often than not, marketing to people who own previous devices. So if they're talking about the iPhone 11, maybe you have a 10s, but they're probably not expecting you to upgrade from a 10s. But if you have a 10 or an 8 or a 7,
you know
what I mean? So I don't think they're saying, hey, if you have a P30 Pro, this battery, I think it's more like, hey, if you use iPhones, this is going to be a lot better for you.
No, I agree. And that's what I don't like. I mean, look, your Apple, it's a Pro. I get all that, right? I'm just saying, if your competition is doing stack, just do stack and call it a day, especially on the Pro device. On the 11, I can see the excuse you want to make. But if the 11 is like the XR, it probably has better battery life than the 11 Pro.
No,
the XR. Not anymore. Okay,
so the 11, regular 11, has 1 hour more battery life than the 10R did last year, which the 10R was the best battery life.
Exactly.
Now, the iPhone 11 Pro regular size gets 4 more hours, which I think makes it even with the 11, and then the Max has the 1 hour additional. That's the best one.
So my question kind of parallels to E's here. We're finally seeing a quote unquote fast charger from Apple this year. Yeah. It's only in the Pro models.
Yeah.
Andrew, how do you as a, I don't want to call it sheep, but you're the Apple guy. How do you defend that they didn't put a fast charger with the 11, the R equivalent, and yet every
I
Android
personally
OEM
don't.
out there, and
I
don't
don't
tell me
defend
about
that.
battery health and stuff like that. What can you tell me?
I think so. The reason Apple took so long, first of all, to include fast charging is they didn't want to make their own fast charging standard. They're waiting for power delivery to be finished, which is now a standard. So that's why it took so long to do it. I don't defend them not putting in a fast charger. I think they should. I think so. I'm in the minority when you compare to the average consumer. I think everybody in this chat right now, the four of us, whether Apple puts a fast charger or not in the box, we all have fast chargers.
Yeah.
So if they didn't put a fast charger in the box, I personally am fine with it because I have like 10 fast chargers that I can use. But the average person, they probably just use what's in the box. They use the headphones that come in the box. They use the charger that comes in the box. And so I think it's unfortunate that Apple is using the Pro designation to mean, one of those things that makes it Pro is that you get the fast charging here, but you don't get it there.
See, I was hoping at least so is it the 5 watts, the original
5 watt in the
See, I was hoping at least they bumped that to a 10 or something where at least you go, okay, you've got a faster charger this year, and then the Pro gets to 18. Yeah. And by the way, though, don't slouch in that Pro, because if they might be going the same route as Samsung, right? The Samsung's 25 watt charger is fast.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
it is ridiculously fast. And if they go the same route, that 18 watt charger is no slouch. I'll just say that. It's one of those things where when I saw it, I was like, if they're using power delivery and they're going with the same if they use anywhere close to the same specification that Samsung has, which is why it's so hard for you to find a third party for it, right? Yeah. If you go with those kind of specifications, you're going to get a more efficient charger. Because in my tests, the Huawei one at 63 minutes, Samsung has done, my Samsung did 68. I've got people, I think Fisher and somebody else from Digital Trends said he did 63 minutes on his Galaxy Note 10. So
from empty?
From zero.
This is a 45 from Ventive, so third party. This will charge a MacBook, but when I plug the Galaxy in here, I don't get nearly as fast as a 25. So there's something proprietary in here. Plus,
there's nothing proprietary. Zero proprietary.
You got to use a specific cable, because I had to use the hardcore Ventive cable in order to get that to work with the Samsung 25. But this would not charge as fast. So it's weird, right?
Yeah, no, it's standard. It's a couple of standards they go with. Yeah, the cable is a certain standard. I've forgotten what it was. It has to have a certain standard within the charger as well. And then there's a specific amp outage the Samsung goes with. So if you hit all the trifecta, you will get it. But
it's funny is I keep the Samsung 25 down here that came with the Note 10 Plus, but I'm still using the 10 Plus, the S10 Plus, Galaxy S10 Plus upstairs in the bedroom. Yeah. And like I've always said, if you're 15% or more at the end of the day, don't plug it in the morning, right? Save your battery health and just do it when you're shaving or getting ready in the morning or whatever. By the time you get out, it's fine.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of ask Thunder a question. Can I ask a question, Viper?
Go ahead, man. What's up?
All right. I want to know what Thunder thought about the services, the Apple Arcade for $5 a month and Apple TV Plus pricing, where it's $5 a month also, but free for a year if you buy any Apple hardware.
So Apple Arcade, I mean the pricing for both of them are fine. I just wasn't impressed with Apple Arcade at all. But really? I also know
Stadia, you only get a few and you have to buy the games on top. But this, you get everything.
I get it. I felt like Apple just didn't do. This is one of those things where if you really wanted to capture gaming, Apple could easily go hard on a couple key publishers, one or two. Like this is me. If Apple struck a deal with Tencent and got PUBG in there, just what that game alone ensures that you just got people using that service. What struck me was the way it came out with Frogger first. Yeah. That's when I knew, because I know Apple very well. I mean, as much as I'm not a fan of the company. When they want to come strong, they come strong. And that wasn't a strong show. When you come up with Frogger, look, I tweeted, I was like, no Metal Gear, like give me something. Yeah. Capcom, no what's the zombie game? Dead Rising. It's like something that people will go, the non-gamers will go, ooh, that looks pretty cool. I want to try it out. And the gamers will go, I remember that game. I'm in. Frogger is not the game to do
Well,
that.
maybe they just want to keep the I haven't looked at the website. Maybe they haven't. Maybe they just want to keep it.
They haven't announced all 100.
They haven't announced all 100 yet.
They did have them on the phones in the briefing. You could like go into it and take a look.
Yeah.
I think they will have some of those types of games that are more adult, like rated M or whatever, but they wouldn't show that on stage.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I was just looking for something that just was more captivating on that. But like I said, for me, the price is fine. Like it's something where you can try it out. Again, there's a month free trial. So to me, that approach is like it's cool. It's okay.
Okay. What about TV?
TV, you remember we've had this conversation before.
We had the conversation, but the conversation was around $10 a month.
$10 a month.
Yeah.
The pricing again is fine for it. But once they bundle it with if you buy an Apple product, you knew they had to. This was they know they don't have the clout or the type of shows to get you in.
But
so
I think we don't know that second one. We don't know if they about the type.
No. When you do that, right? That's Apple's way of saying you're already in. So it's marketing tactics. Half the people will forget to unsubscribe. Some people will get hooked on shows and they will watch, and then that's how you build your base. That's the easiest way for them to get in. This show, like I said, the shows I have to wait and see. Nothing caught my eye. Even the one from Jason Momoa, I joked, and honestly, I think it's true. It looks like a bigger budget version of the 100 from CW. Anyone who's seen that show will know how it feels. It doesn't look bad. It's just that they're going against a different. To me, this is an area where I think Apple will run into trouble because it is not their expertise. They have nothing. Production of shows is very different from changing the music industry. Remember, they changed the delivery. Sure. Delivery service is different. But this one, there's a reason why HBO can next year come out with $15 and people will pay because they have a pedigree of years. And there's a reason why Disney can do whatever. If Disney charged $10, it wouldn't have mattered. Really,
No,
but it wouldn't have mattered, So that's where I see them. I'm going like it's going to be really careful. One thing I heard from so there's a podcast I follow. It's called Collider Video. They do a lot of TV video stuff, and one of the guys they had a caller called in and said, "Oh, what do you think about Apple TV service?" And he was like, "Okay," and I hopefully you can answer this for me. He's like, "I get it with the shows, but what about movies? Do I get movies in this package?" They haven't explained that, so I don't know specifically what that is because I get it with their own specific shows, but it's just like Netflix too. You still get to watch some big movies on Netflix, or at least Netflix has their own movies. So Apple really hasn't stated that. So if I'm trying to look at the service and say, hey, okay, I've already got it to my iPhone. Okay, there's one show I like, but do I continue for this show or do I just say, forget it?
I agree with E. I think that the whole giving people Apple TV Plus for a year free gets them in the door and gets them stuck in the door. Like he said, half the people will forget to unsubscribe and the other half will just want to keep going and maintain anywhere. So that is a good way to get a little customer base going by giving them a year free and then seeing what happens after that.
Without seeing the quality of the other shows and just going off trailers, $4.99 seems like it's worth it, even if there's no movies. If the quality, if like I said before, if it's like Netflix where every few months you get a really good show or a really good movie that everybody's watching it, but everything on Apple TV Plus is like that, $4.99 is a drop in the bucket. It's like that's like 2 coffees you're giving up per month.
So I'm trying to think. So I don't liken Apple TV Plus to a Netflix or a Hulu as much as I liken it to more of like an HBO.
Yeah, well,
trying to make their own original content. HBO, but like without the movie catalog, right? So I try to think of like how I use HBO. I use HBO to watch Game of Thrones. I use it to watch this show called Divorce, which I thought was funny, and there's one other show. So basically, I pay for HBO 12 months a year, in exchange for 3 shows that I thought were really good. And every now and then there might be like a stand-up special or something that I'd like to. But for the most part, I'll pay HBO $15 a month for 3 shows, right? So if Apple over the next year can come out with, you know, I think they said they were going to put out 4 or 5 different shows a month. So if over the next 12 months they put out 60 shows, roughly 50 to 60 shows, if they put out 3 or 4 shows that you personally like, even if you dislike the other, you know, 66 shows or 56 shows, it's still compelling. If there's 4 shows that you like that you want to see and you want to see what happens in the next season for $5 a month, and especially for free up front, I don't think that's too bad.
Yeah.
See, I agree with you. This was last year or 2 years ago. The reason I say that is because the HBO analogy you gave is very correct, except it will change also for HBO next year.
What do they do?
HBO Max is going to encompass everything Warner Brothers, which is HBO, Showtime, TNT, AMC, Turner Classic Movies, you know, even the CW shows is all Warner Brothers. It's all going to come into that stuff. So the fact that you have that in there now changes the game. It's not you just watching it for Game of Thrones, but also even the HBO argument you made is that you don't watch HBO just because of Game of Thrones. Because you watch it because of the quality and the fact that you've watched shows in the past that are quality. Mm-hmm. The difference with Apple is that Apple's look at Amazon. Amazon it's taken its time just to even get to where it is. And Amazon has now had to buy certain IPs. Like the reason why people are willing to stay now, you know, they picked up a big sci-fi show with The Expanse. Now they have Lord of the Rings coming out where everybody's going, okay, let's wait and see what that is. Plus, it's also tied into Amazon service. Again, where it's like, I already have it. Now, I'm not saying it's going to fail. I look at it, it's going to be a very hard position for Apple to stay in fully successfully unless maybe they start trimming down shows. And we know, okay, look, Apple is going to give us 10 solid shows throughout the year, right? And that's pretty much it. But I don't think you remember when I said there's going to be the big 3 of streaming. It's going to be Disney, it's going to be HBO, it's going to be Netflix. Everybody, I think Amazon's the number 4. Amazon is going to be Sprint, but it's a Sprint you already have because you shop from Amazon. Mm-hmm. Apple is going to be a 50% split the other way because I can guarantee that, look, how many Android people will pick it up already cuts that off as well. You also have that ecosystem.
Well, not if you're an Android person who owns a Mac or an iPad.
No, not really though. I don't think so.
Same 1 year for free.
Yeah, I mean, like if you buy a Mac, yeah, you get it. Now, of course, it asks you to sign a credit card or not, but I don't think it's going to be as successful as Apple hopes for because to me, they're doing the same thing. Even today when he came out, he started talking about the star-studded cast, and I'm like, that's not how you make TV shows, bro. There's a reason why TV shows are not about. Look, there are many TV shows with big actors that fail, that are really good actors. It's not. It's the showrunners of the TV show. Right.
I don't think that's his belief, though. I think it's more that was marketing speak. Like,
but
the consumer, hey, we have big stars. He knows that that's not how you.
I'm sure, but if the marketing is focusing on that, it's troubling. That's where I say it's troubling. Is the fact that they don't have as much, and hopefully they figure if we can get people in, then eventually, you know, we can fill in those gaps. Right?
Yeah, well, I think that's the point. I think the goal is fill in the gaps over the next year, and see where they are. And I don't think their strategy is hopefully people forget to cancel. I think they know we're getting 12 months. We have to, by the end of this 12 months, give people a reason to stick with us. Not to stick with us, but give people a reason to feel like they can't leave. So, you know.
Oh no! They think he should hopefully not cancel. Trust me. Maybe not him. The marketing department. Look, I'm not Steve Jobs. Tim Cook is an operations guy.
Yeah,
that is part of operations. You don't cancel. Trust me. That's just. It's not even a matter of whether it's not an evil thing or a bad thing. It's just what companies do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I get that part, and it's fine. It's going to be an interesting race next year because by the time all these shows from all the different networks come out, I mean, this is the golden age of TV we're in, and it's even going to get bigger.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see.
But yeah, the funny thing is when we first learned about Apple TV Plus way back in March, Apple trotted off all these A-listers onto the stage, and my first thought was like, all right, that's all good that you got all these A-listers, but what are the shows going to be about? Are these shows going to be compelling enough to make me want to watch? I don't see anything I want to watch, but I mean that could change over time.
I very rarely judge my shows on like have to see this actor.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about the storytelling.
Right.
Yep.
It totally is. Yeah. Unless it's got Jennifer Aniston.
You also have to remember, like, the shows that Thunder likes to watch, the shows that Viper likes to watch, the shows that my wife likes to watch, the shows that my mom likes to watch. Like, not every show has to be something that everybody likes. Like the Oprah stuff, I probably won't care about it at all, but my wife is going to want to watch. Mm-hmm. So they have to put out content that not just tech nerds care about. Can't just be all Lord of the, it has to be stuff that the average person, kids, like they have the Snoopy show coming, like stuff for kids, stuff for women.
I'll watch Snoopy.
People, stuff for geeky people, stuff for teens. So all I'm saying is that means that every time they release a new show, there's maybe a 20% chance that you'll like that show.
No, that goes great. That goes pretty services actually. I mean, on HBO, I only saw I was interested in watching on HBO and Game of Thrones, so that goes for any channel. Yeah,
right.
No, I do agree. But again, you can have this is where I think they fell into a problem. They had the show for every category. They didn't have a blockbuster in the middle. They just needed one, and they didn't show anything that says a general like, ooh, because everyone who has looked at the catalog goes, that's interesting, that's nice. Look, even Hulu went through that path, and eventually they found Handmaid's Tale, and that's literally the only show they have. But you've got to have that one show that brings people back. Netflix is a prime example. Now, Netflix now has a bunch of other shows. They have the Marvel shows and stuff. But Stranger Things was the blockbuster they needed, right? To solidify. They've always had shows.
But they had that first one though. What was their first big one?
The one with the White House.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey one. Yeah, that was the
House
first
one.
House of Cards. That's the first card. That's what said it was legit. So, and I get it that it took time for Netflix, it took time for Hulu. My problem with them is that they don't have that much time, because at the end of the day is they have the money to spend, but investors will also go, why are you wasting money here, right?
Mm-hmm. And the other competition is getting better.
Yeah, so that's where the mix is, and I'm like, hopefully they have something good where.
So what are you guys going to be subscribed to at the end of the year? For me, it's going to be Netflix, Disney, maybe Apple.
I mean, we'll be subscribed to Apple automatically because of the 1 year free deal.
I'm getting a watch and everything, so I'm going to get it.
Yeah. I'm going to be in there as well. But for me, it's Amazon, because I already have it.
Yeah.
Netflix, Disney, HBO. That's it. I mean,
do you have traditional cable service at all, or no?
No,
not even for local stuff.
No,
cord cutting the way, baby. Cord cutting it the way.
Yeah, we're pretty close. I don't even know why we have a house phone anymore. My wife loves telemarketers, I guess. So
I mean, the thing is, the one thing I was hoping Hulu did was Hulu had just a sports package. Because the problem with sports in America is it's split up everywhere. Like, you want to watch football, you got to get CBS and Fox.
Yeah.
Even if your team is on CBS, you still got to get those games on Fox as well.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of stuff. You're watching the NBA, it's TNT until you get to NBA Finals, and it goes to ABC. And ESPN.
I have an off-topic question for you.
Yeah.
How's your Street Fighter holding up?
Mine's dead.
Oh no! Did it die?
It died. Look, it died a while back. I just haven't even had time to I need to call them to get it fixed. I had a Christmas party and it died then.
Oh, some people getting rambunctious with it.
Yeah, I mean everyone was on it, and I was like, oh, "This is great! This is great! People having fun."
Yeah,
and it died. It just completely went. Right.
They're finally selling MK and turtles up here to the retailers, and they're including the risers and the stools with the price.
Oh, nice! Finally,
like $4.29 Canadian with a stool and a riser.
I bought my riser for $129.
Oh my god, they're $69.
Yeah, because I had it in house.
Yeah.
And I had a holiday party. I was like, there's no way I can put this thing on the floor. I'm like, I gotta raise this up, and it was a hit of the party, and
they got them now with the graphics on them. So like they'll say like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah, you can get the nice risers now. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
You just have the one, right?
Yeah, just the one.
Okay.
So here's my thing, though. We know that Apple TV Plus is coming for free for a year, but I think for the long-term success for the platform, at least at the very beginning, they really need to figure out a way to bundle Apple TV Plus with their other services like Apple Music and things like that, especially if they can't get more original content on the platform. Otherwise, I don't know what it's going to do after that initial year.
I can see them doing an app eventually down the road, Apple Entertainment, and within that, you got your music, you got your TV Plus, you got maybe your games, and you just go in there, pick what you subscribe to. You know what I mean? Rather than separate apps and everything.
I don't know why. I mean, like at the end of the year, they need to make that a $15 bundle, man.
They need to bundle all of that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, like you actually even get more people than especially what do you call it? Arcade is $4.99 for the family, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, look, if I'm a family where I know like I have my whole family on the Apple ecosystem, I'm like, okay, $15, I get Apple TV, okay, but I get iTunes Music, Apple Music, sorry, and I get the arcades for the kid. I'm good.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with that is that the record companies have their thing where if you get a family plan on any service, it's $15. So they can't sell a bundle for $15.
Bundle, yeah, I know, but they need to find a way to make a bundle in there.
A bundle would be good, especially if they throw in like because if you have a family plan, then you can get one of the bigger iCloud storages that your whole family can share. Mm-hmm. Like include family storage. You have News Plus. I don't use News Plus, but I'm sure some people do.
Like the story's already started. It's very interesting listening to you guys talk about bundles and everything. Because I used to work for one of the major cable providers up here in Canada, Shaw. Oh. Anyway, I was going to say that.
Step away.
Yeah, you could. I mean, before we used to have a plan up here was like $24, $30 a month, and you had to get these channels. And if you wanted this one channel in this tier, you had to get like a certain bundle. And to this day, it's even harder. And it seems like Apple, Google, whoever's doing services now is going to have a lot more flexibility in terms of like this, that, or not kind of thing.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see where that falls in. I just think that they need to have, with them becoming a service company, or gearing that way, they need to have a bundled service. Even Google needs to do that too, where we kind of like how Microsoft at least just bundled almost all its core services immediately, right? Mm-hmm. You've got the whole Office suite, OneDrive is included into that if you just get it, that kind of thing where it's like, okay, if I'm going to get an Apple service, I can either get one service or all, just like Amazon too, right? It's either you get Amazon Prime full or you pay for one. You're like, why am I even paying for one? Just pay for the whole thing, And I think it makes a lot of sense for them to do that. So if I were them, I would look for, if I was Apple, I would look for an entertainment suite package. And then I would try and reach out, especially Apple TV. My thing with Apple TV is that if Apple TV can bring in regular TV on some level and sports, then they have me. Because, like you said, I've cut the cord, right? Mm-hmm. But some people will still want to watch local news. You still want to do that. You won't want to catch the news. And also because you cut the cord, there are many stations you can't watch, like the HDTVs, things like, all those a lot of people now live on those obscure stations. That's where they like to watch, just carefree content, until their shows come up. If I can get some of that, and then at least for me, then I get my sports. Then I go like, okay, Apple TV is now that cool thing. And again, I'm glad they have it, on Samsung TVs, LG TVs, and things like that. So I could just easily just log in and go there. But that I think is what they can do on that aspect, where then you can now create a general entertainment bundle and tell people, hey, look, if you get the Apple Entertainment or the Apple Services bundle, whatever you want to call it, you get iCloud, X amount. Cloud storage is cheap, so they shouldn't cheap that on that. You get Apple Music, you get arcades for the family, then you get the entertainment package, which includes blah 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 stations, like local TV for you, sports package. Then somebody goes, okay, I'm already in the Apple ecosystem. This is for my whole family. I pay $40 for this. I'm good. I can pay for that, and I'm done. That you need to make that compelling argument.
Yeah.
They need to look at what Amazon has done, because Amazon has done it really well. Where it's now $120 for Prime, right? A year.
Yep. Yep.
Do you see anyone complain about it?
No, I mean it's a nice little perk. If I can't find something on Netflix, I'll go check Prime, but I don't typically check Prime. Although I am watching the complete, I think, 10 seasons of Baywatch right now, which I thought was kind of funny because I can watch my old shows again.
But on the other side, though, Prime is a lot different, because Amazon Prime is not just Amazon Prime. It's 2-day shipping. It's Amazon Music. It's a whole bunch of stuff that's
I haven't even tried the music. Is the music any good?
Well, the last time I tried the music was a while back. It was good, for what it was then. This was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But remember, Amazon Prime started as Prime only. Then they tacked in more to justify the shipping service. They did the reverse. It was literally, I mean, as far as I remember, somebody could correct me, but Prime was just shipping. It was 2-day shipping. The argument was like, you could wait 5 days to a week, or you get it in 2 days.
Now you can get like same day depending on the product.
Yep. Oh yeah, same day. In New York here, it's literally I get in an hour.
Do you guys get the drone delivery out there?
No drone. It's hard to do drone delivery in New York. There's a lot of restrictions, but I do get Amazon Prime now, an hour, or maximum 2 hours.
Wow.
So, but they did that. They did one service and they kept on tacking on, and they said it's a whole. Then they went to a whole bundle, and then they went back and said, okay, you can now get each individual one, because I have cloud storage as well, which I've never used, but it's there. It's available. Remember, Amazon also has the biggest cloud service in terms of server service for people. So I think there's a way for Apple to do this. It's just a matter of how do they approach it, and also how do they. To me, if they want to be a services company, they have to approach me, the other 50%. It's not the Apple users. It's me.
It's a good time to be a consumer with all the competition. I'll just say that.
Yeah, competition is going down. I mean, competition is the reason why Apple TV Plus is $5 a month instead of $10 a month. Because Disney Plus came there with that $7.99. It's like, bro.
I can't wait to get Disney Plus, man.
Oh boy. So, what else did you like about the keynote today, if anything?
What else did I like about the keynote today? Oh man, I tweeted out the wrong video for you. I apologize. I gotta delete that tweet in a second. I just realized I was looking at it, I was like, that's not the right tweet. Jesus, what is wrong with me?
That's funny.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not a big fan of smartwatches, but I respect the Apple Watch. I think it's the best smartwatch out there. I still, as much as it does a lot, I don't like a smartwatch that lasts a day. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care what it is, because it should last longer. But I do like the improvements they've done yet to the year. That I mean, it's spot on. So it was nice to see the Series 5. In terms of the iPad, that was also good. That was a good price point for it. $329, $299 students. I mean, they own the tablet market completely.
Yep.
From head to toe. So unless Google decides to actually create software for tablets and push it this time, or what I said was, Samsung, you've made the best Android tablet. Just make it a Dex tablet, make your own thing and call it a day. Don't even use Google software, because at this point, they're not helping you out. at all.
No,
You know.
they're not supporting tablet at all. Which is
No, they're
crazy.
supporting tablets. But I mean, in terms of the iPhone stuff itself, it was nice to see the cameras being updated. Speaking of the night mode, I'm a bit cautious of that night mode being automatic. And I'll tell you why.
Uh-oh.
I like, because I heard you guys were talking and you said, it's nice they said it automatic. And that's cool. But there's some shots that the night mode will probably not think it's automatic. And I want to manually switch to night mode.
Oh, you
That's
can.
just-
You can.
You can. So do you have to go out of the settings or can you do it?
No,
in the
no.
camera?
So actually, believe it
Please
or
tell me
not,
it's in the camera.
a lot of the settings are in the camera now.
Whoa!
Not all of them, but basically, so night mode, you hold your phone up, and if it senses that it's in the dark, it turns on night mode on the top left, and you can tap it to turn it right back off.
Huh.
No. So it's not that feature. If it doesn't sense it, because the reason I'm saying that is that I'm going to have some scenes that would look still bright. You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe
but I want to
nothing
get,
like that.
I want that night shot. So because what it's doing is like Samsung's, what do you call it again? The intelligence mode that has the circle in the corner.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It just basically senses it as night, and then it takes a photo. Then it switches to night mode for you.
Yeah.
I want to have the feature where, because you've done this with a Huawei phone, is that you take that night mode shot when it's not really night, and it just gives you that nice HDR effect.
Now that I don't know, but night mode is a toggle. But
okay.
There's
Toggle off.
Toggle. Well, it might be a toggle on. I didn't check for that.
Okay.
But basically, there's a lot of your camera settings where if you're in your camera, if you just swipe up, like all the settings pop up on the bottom here, and you can like.
Finally.
Yeah, not every camera setting though. There's still going to be the settings app, but there's a lot more in the camera that you can control without having to leave the camera.
I understand why they left it in settings, for simplicity from the majority of people. But man, that was annoying when you had to go like in and out.
Yeah.
I wish they would like push to the way Android does things and just put settings in their each individual app. That'd be a lot more better.
That would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't want to go to the camera.
No.
I'm glad I don't want to go out of the camera just to switch from 4K to 1080p 60.
What is going on with that?
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
I agree, man. We agree on that.
That's one of the things that always pissed me about Apple products as a whole.
The truth comes out.
No, I mean, it's true though. Look, I've been a PC user my whole life.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that I can right click and do whatever I want. Not that you can't right click on a Mac. I'm not saying that, but there are many entry points to one location, right? Mm-hmm. And not the fact. And on the iPhone, as simplistic as it is, it's very dumb. It really is. Mm-hmm. But it works for a lot of people, and I call them dumb too.
You have the Note 10 Plus, correct?
Yeah.
I have felt, and I'm not saying this because as a Samsung fan or an Android user, but I feel as though this camera experience on the Plus here is almost Pixel-ish, as in clarity of photos this year and everything like that, and easiness. And I'm thinking, especially on the video side, it's because of the time of flight.
Definitely.
At least that's my experience. That's why I did a video on it and everything like that. Because it's the exact same camera module, not necessarily software, but it's the same hardware as the S10 Plus. Because when I did the internal inspection on there, so I guess my point I'm trying to make is that I'm looking forward to seeing how Pixel differentiates themselves. Apple definitely did today with their stuff, so it should be interesting putting this up against each other.
It will be. I mean, Pixel is all software. I still consider Huawei to have the best camera on a smartphone for photos, but an iPhone looks like it's going to take the crown again for videos this year, especially if you use that Filmic Pro app. That looks to be,
that was incredible.
Pretty dope. Yeah.
I shoot my B-roll on a 10R, like on the little dolly thing that El Jefe Reviews uses, for example. So when I do these close-up things, I do it with this, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what the Pro 11 can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be good.
So Andrew E, did you guys put your pre-orders in for the relaunched Galaxy Fold?
Is the pre-orders open?
It's not open yet.
That answers your question.
No, because I didn't get anything for pre-orders.
I thought they opened it up.
No, they canceled everyone's
Korea
pre-orders.
Oh,
Korea, it's only Korea because next week is Europe. And the U.S. announcement, and the
I have a feeling they're making just enough units, and then nothing to see here next year. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's remember they've canceled 2 colors, so they're gonna make it. I think it's enough units to hit their targets, which was how many did they say? Was it 1 million they were looking to sell, or
I think it was way less than 1 million.
Oh, 100. So let's say 100,000,
Yeah, I
right?
think so, yeah.
So, but they put it out in Korea and it sold out immediately. So they might open that a little bit more and see how that is. But I figured they will sell the 100,000 units they want to sell, and then we're going to see a fold 2. The all the rumored triple fold and whatever they want to showcase early next year with the Note 10. Sorry, with the S11. Yeah.
My Note, man. I want my Fold. I was disappointed when they canceled the pre-order.
But like the one-handedness of that with the bezels, it just looks so useless.
No, it isn't. It isn't. Trust me. You use it with one hand, like literally. I mean, open it with one. The front screen is the useless part. The most useless thing on that thing is that front screen. It is goddamn tiny. Half my finger is covered like the whole screen. That part is absolutely useless.
I mean, I like the concept. I like the idea. I think it's cool that bendable screens, like that just blows my mind. Like I feel like I'm in the Jetsons, you know? I just don't see the practicality.
Wait. We're gonna come back to the discussion 3 years from now.
Okay, no, that's cool, man. It's cool.
I'm just saying that. Remember, we had this discussion, Viper, when we talked about the fold.
Mark it on your calendar, September 10th.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I see the folds like I saw the first Galaxy Note. I was there when they briefed. I mean, most people didn't even know about this device. Everybody said, and Gadget wrote, this was crap. Nobody wants a big phone, a pen on the phone. This is useless. We're using touchscreens.
Yeah.
Every phone is giant now.
I remember last year.
Every phone is big.
Last year when they pointed that out during the 9 launch.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And I think that's the way with foldables in the sense that it's gonna set a different bar for what you can do with devices. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I don't like tablets, but I would take a fold. Mm-hmm. You know, like Huawei's Fold has a much better design, but also more dangerous in terms of drops on that device. Yeah,
I like the idea of the Razer concept. I don't know if it's been announced yet, but like where you basically have 2 screens, but they're not connected, but it can fold up. Do you know what I mean? Like you can do something down here and look up here. Do you know what I mean? Right?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, I don't know. I mean, like that's cutting my screen ratio in half because basically it's a 6-inch screen put into 2 3-inch screens or 2.5 or whatever it would be.
I'm falling for nostalgia as an old guy. Yeah.
So. I mean, I feel you on that one, but
So
whatever pre-orders come, we'll pre-order. You know.
So talking about the Huawei, since you've had time with the Huawei, what do you think about the Huawei Fold?
Look, that thing is solid. I mean, the Galaxy Fold is solid also. The Huawei device feels like everyone's dream of a foldable. You open it up, it feels sturdy. The front, both screens or both sides of the screens actually are pretty solid. My thing is like really, it's a solid device. One thing is just that it will break if you're not careful. I mean, really careful. As much as everybody says I like that, I look at it, I go, I hold it. I was using it. I was like, I would pick up the Samsung first because I know if I drop that, I can still use that device no matter what. Because this one, even if you put it in your pocket, both sides are going to scratch with keys or coins or something, right? Or there will be damage, So that's the part and also again Huawei with the issues having Google Play on there. They're in such limbo where I almost feel sad that I may never see that device or not experience it the right way.
So is it true that the P30 Pro Mate 30 Pro is supposed to launch without Google?
That's the word. I mean, you can sideload Google Play.
But no one's gonna go to the store.
Was there a rumor, or is it a different phone where they said something to the effect of Huawei announced a new color, and therefore by announcing a new color of the phone, it kind of reset the clock?
Yeah, that was something they said because they announced a new color for the P30 Pro. which launched earlier this year. And a lot of people said that. I don't know if that's true or correct.
Okay.
We'll have to. Maybe that's something that they're trying to play that legal gamble and sort it out with Google. But
Right.
The thing about it is, if you think about Huawei, for instance, is that even before this ban, they didn't sell millions of units in the US. They sold it internationally, and most international users can sideload. They do that on a regular basis. It's not like us US consumers who want things a certain way, So sideloading, your data is quite easy. Getting an APK for Google Play and all that kind of stuff. So as long as they can sell their units in China, Southeast Asia, in India, rest of the world, they still will be fine. It's just that we don't get to play with it here, And I don't even think we can buy it on Amazon anymore. At least the new ones.
You should be able to buy it on Amazon UK and import it. But I don't. Last time I checked .com, there were units on there. I meant the new. .com was carrying those units, but okay.
Yeah, but I think the new one, I don't think it's going to, because remember after the whole ruling
FedEx was refusing to deliver and all that. Yeah.
So you've got those issues there as well.
Yeah, it's a shame. Huawei makes the majority of our so let's be really clear. I don't know if a lot of people know this. The issue is not Huawei devices; it's infrastructure. And what I mean by that, it's cell phone towers, antennas, software, etc. The majority of our infrastructure here in Canada for the last 4 years is Huawei. Telus, Bell, Rogers all use it. If Huawei had split up like they were asked to 3 years ago by the U.S. government to become two separate companies, so Huawei Infrastructure, Huawei Mobile, and they technically have those, but officially, you guys would still have Huawei devices in stores, but because they didn't,
why should they?
Well, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. And that's the thing. Nobody's showing their cards, right? You have to go by. And it's just there's so many politics with it. But
it is a lot of that, and you can, as a foreign country, tell another country's company. Yeah. It's like us saying Google should split up. Like China comes and says like Google needs to split up. It's too big. It's got so many different things.
And Canada hasn't made a decision on 5G yet. They're going to do it after the election this October. So we're having another federal election. We'll see if Trudeau stays in or if we get somebody else, and then a decision will be made. But as it stands right now, they're the only ones that do it and do it well. So it's not about phones spying on your people. It's about the infrastructure. Yeah. It's about the antennas, that whole bit, right? So
gonna be interesting, man. Seeing how this all plays out.
Yeah.
Now the funny thing is that we have Huawei. Like Huawei is not like banned per se, but they're still on the blacklist here in the U.S. So. You still won't see Huawei devices in carriers. I don't think you ever have, but you won't get them in carrier devices anytime soon, if ever. But
if you go to private carriers, I think some of them, depending on what you pay, they'll import it for you, but you have to pay down like 3/4 of the money and sign off and everything like that. That's what I've read online. There's a couple of Reddit threads I found where there's AT&T dealers where you can go to and they'll still import it privately, not the corporate stores.
Yeah, the private dealers will be.
Yeah, the private guys.
But no, once the AT&T deal fell out, was it last year? Earlier, it was last year.
Yeah.
That was.
He was literally about to walk in the stage and they canceled it. Like what?
That was crazy.
He was going off. I remember that was like, we're supposed to talk about Verizon and everything. We got nothing to talk about now. And oh man.
Yeah, that was really bad. But we'll see how that pans out. They're not going anywhere, and they make so. I really want to see what this new camera does, because. I'm more in the camp of bigger sensor and with software, not software only. Like I would love to see Huawei sensor with Pixel software.
Oh, that'd be dream. With a Leica lens. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a half. It's more than a half. It's a half-inch sensor. The last phone to have that was the Lumia 1020.
That was an awesome phone.
Man.
Until today, that phone takes better photos than most phones out there.
Yeah, if
you throw in a Snapdragon 855 on that right now,
yeah,
golden.
Microsoft was so underrated. I always felt they always got the short end of the stick, but they just didn't play it right, and they didn't get developers on board, which is that's what ultimately killed them, just like BlackBerry, right? So,
well, you know what? I used to say that, then I realized. I talked to some people at Microsoft, and they said they were spending money.
yeah.
Yep.
But the age-old truth is this: developers are lazy. Even look at Android and what do you call it? iOS, right? Think about it. Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I think currently right now there are more Instagram users on Android than there are on iOS. Who gets updates first? iOS.
Yeah.
Who has the new features? Because I got my iPhone and I was like, wow, what is this going on Instagram? I have never seen this feature. And then I go to my Galaxy, I'm like, I can't do the same thing.
And Instagram photos taken on iOS look so much better than Android, unless you're like doing something in Lightroom and then like import it. And that's just the realities of it. Even Snapchat is only now getting proper Android support. Right. So
all right, so let's talk about this. Andrew, why do we not have an Instagram iPad app, man? What's going on with that?
Instagram says that they are a mobile platform. So
iPad is
is not a mobile device.
Is the iPad chopped liver? With the iPad a joke? What's going on?
Well, the iPad is not a mobile device; it's a portable device.
No, he just said it. Developers are lazy. They don't want to do it. It's just what it is, man. Like, why make it when you can still use the mobile app, right? And call it a day.
You can use the mobile app, you can use Safari.
So yeah, like they don't care about that. They're like, just use that and be
That is
fine
the
with it.
lamest what I've heard in my life. Oh man, that's terrible.
No, it is what it is with these guys, man. And yeah, so I mean, speaking of just going back to that Microsoft thing, that's why, like, Microsoft would, like, to me, what pissed me off with Microsoft? The device that they killed that they should have kept till this day, the Microsoft Band.
Oh yeah.
No one was buying it.
No. It actually was selling. I saw their balance sheets on it because they weren't pushing many units. What happened is they just decided not to build on that line. The first gen one came out quietly, and then they went to second and third gen. Third gen was getting all the data that you're seeing now on the Apple Watch. They were already getting it at that time. They had all the sensors and everything in there. And it was typical Microsoft at the time where they didn't go. And again, that was not part of the Surface team. That's the only team that goes, we will continue to focus on improving our hardware. And Xbox, every other team is like, it doesn't work. So we'll call it a day. And I thought that was actually a good piece of hardware that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And they just didn't go with it. But again, Microsoft has had a bunch of that. Zune.
They had to save that money for Ninja.
They have enough money, man.
Really, they are loaded. They're not hurting for money, man.
They have
got
enough money. They have enough money. They have money. Yeah.
So, Andrew, I saw a headline the other day that says that Apple is borrowing $7 billion in cash for something. I didn't really get into it, but why is the richest company in the world borrowing cash, man?
Never spend your own money.
So the thing with this is, all right, you have to think of it this way. If I'm earning 8% interest on my money in the bank, and I can take that money out of the bank and lose that 8% interest, or you're going to lend me money at 4% interest, it makes more sense for me to borrow the money at the lower interest rate than what I'm earning on my money. So that's what happens. They borrowing the money saves them more money than using their own money based on the interest that they're
Let me ask you a question about that.
Plus,
with the pricing we saw today, because I was blown away by the pricing, like under $1,000 for the Max and everything like that. Do you think, because like Apple works on a one third kind of basis, like that's my understanding, one third. Do you think they're taking a loss internally, even though it'd still be a profit for some companies with the pricing of the phones?
No, I don't think they're taking a loss on anything.
No.
They're profiting on every phone for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
No, and also again, you have to realize that most of Apple's cash reserves is international.
Yeah.
If you borrow that money, you bring it back. There's certain tax laws including to that. I mean, if you pull that money back and bring it in, so you're going to be taxed on it too again, right?
Mhm.
So you might as well just borrow the money and pay off the loan. And like you said, if there's an 8, you've got that 4% profit line on your interest rate, then what's the point of you using your money?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. That makes sense. Woo. So
That's how
E, you
rich-
got what's up?
Sorry, I was going to say that's how rich people stay rich.
That's
I know, right. Don't
Exactly.
control money if you can.
Yep.
So E, anything else to say about the Apple event today?
I like I said, I like this because it flowed smoother. Last year was really killed me. I wanted to man, I was annoyed last year. It was slow. I'm glad they didn't show numbers this year. I'm like,
Thank
look,
God, yeah.
we know that you lead in a lot of categories. They joked about it. I was like, all right, cool.
What about the
That's
guy with
fine.
the transistors? Like, I was like, what is this?
Oh, dude.
What was
The
that?
guy.
Even the chat with the graph with 813 versus 855. And granted, they didn't show exactly where those numbers came from, blah, blah, what's the correlation, all that stuff, because it was just like a long line.
Or what was the software used for test best month?
Yeah, exactly. Like, which of course could vary. Some numbers actually shorter than the others. Some might even overtake. But we already know from years past that their chips have always been faster. So I'm like, yeah, okay, we know it's faster. Thank you. Move on. So it was a good sign on Snappy. But the one thing I didn't like was a lot of trailers this year. I was like,
yeah,
there was a trailer for everything.
But that's the fun part. That's kind of what started this conversation tonight and everything. I like their marketing. I'm not an Apple guy, but I like watching their stuff. And
The one that was interesting to me was the iPhone 11 trailer focused very heavily on
Slow-fi?
mistreating your device.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Oh,
like
the drop
falling off
stuff.
the table, and you were dropping it into the car, and it was dropping. And they afterwards, I asked them about that, and they were like, "Oh, it's because this new glass we're using is the strongest glass ever used in a smartphone, and we're confident that you can drop it and you can do this and that, and you're going to be safe."
the videos out of that.
I
should be
wish
great.
they stated that, because when I saw that ad, I was like, nobody drops iPhones.
Right.
What the heck is this?
No. Zach does.
But there was a
still-
lot they didn't even announce on stage. Like they support Wi-Fi 6. They didn't
6,
announce
yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah.
They didn't announce they only briefly mentioned ultra wideband. There was a bunch of stuff on these phones that they didn't even talk about. That if you go into spec sheet later, you realize, oh, there's way more. Like they really had, I guess they just had a bunch they wanted to talk about and they couldn't fit it all in.
Yeah.
No, I kind of like the way they did it though. They got through most of the mundane stuff pretty quickly. Although I could have did without the whole Frogger demo and all that crap. But
I told you, bad. That was a bad demo.
yeah, I like most of it though. Like I said, it flowed pretty quickly, and it was pretty cool the way they did it. Like you said, last year it was just terrible. It was horrible. I was like, what are we doing here?
No, it was good, and hopefully, they continue that path of streamline press events. It's kind of like if you look at even Samsung this year, where they had the live demos. I was afraid, but they actually worked for what they were showing. Even they do the AR stuff and all that, where they too even tried to condense it and say, if we're going to go show you something, we take you there and show it. Apple's version was we'll give you the trailer to show it, right? But it was that more concise look to it. So for an event, I was like, it didn't feel as long as normal Apple events do, because they give you numbers and tell you how they're so.
Oh, they didn't do any demos.
No, except the game demos.
Let's do a demo. I'll show you how this works.
Yeah, just the game demo. That's it.
Yeah.
What I will say is that I wish that my man DJ Cole would take note from Tim Cook. Keep it short and simple. My man DJ likes to go out there, talk for 10, 15 minutes to open up the keynote. Take note from Tim Cook, baby. Keep that stuff under 2 minutes to keep it moving. Nobody's there for you, DJ. Come on, man.
I like DJ. He's super awkward. I like that. I like awkward because
DJ Cool, he just talks too damn much, bro. He don't need all that talking.
Look, DJ Cook, he gets to talk on stage to a lot of people twice a year.
Yeah,
that's his time.
That's
I feel his
He's not on Twitter like
Yeah.
like Tim Cook, who once in a while would tweet about something,
Yeah.
tweet to non-celebrity. Nah, this is his time to shine. So I feel him.
true.
I like him because he's super awkward and he's passionate, but he doesn't know he's awkward. I just like it. I'm like, here's DJ again, right? So
Like I said, he a cool dude. He just needs to cut it down to like
Yeah.
3-4 minutes and keep it moving. It's like all that talky talk. Ain't nobody here for all that talky
Best
talk.
galaxies ever. You can clap. Like I can't do an impression, but do you know what I mean? He's very proud. He's a very proud guy, and I like that. He's just super awkward. Yeah.
So Andrew, you think we're gonna have another Apple event this fall?
Seems to make sense.
Thank God Viper's wearing pants.
Yeah.
I would expect to see an October event.
Yeah, there has to be an October event. I mean,
I think they'll do something shortly after Pixel, just to kind of show up. Do you know what I mean?
So when is Pixel? I mean, the rumor is the 15th.
15th,
That is a little late, unless they are launching immediately after the 15th.
I think it's 15th based on what Blast said. Yeah.
I mean, I thought maybe that was actually the.
I can get a
release
verification on that tomorrow. Actually, I can find out from the Google guy here in Calgary.
date. All right, because if they don't do it on the 15th, they have to do it earlier, and the space is earlier as the first week of the month is Microsoft is the 2nd, which means they'll have to do a Tuesday, the 1st.
It's got to be the 15th because you're coming too close to Black Friday and everything, right? So
yeah, 15th. That means they launch immediately.
yeah.
I mean, they're already out there in the wild, so I guess that wouldn't be too much of a far. Speaking of Pixel E, what do you think about the Pixel 4 leak we've seen so far, man?
I mean, so it's not leaks; it's the new marketing approach, right? The approach was every launch event for any of the competitors. So this is my thinking is they're trying to say we are one of the big boys in the game. So when Huawei does this thing next week, you're going to see them do the same thing. There's going to be another leak next week, just around that as well. So I think they're doing that to say like, hey, we are part of that echelon of big players. Here are the drops, the dimes. The leaks have been embarrassing for what leaks are. It's just straight up somebody in the company is going, hey, here, please post this. You post this. You post this. Put that out there. In terms of what I see, it looks nice. The 90 hertz display on the screen is cool. The facial recognition, it looks like there's no fingerprint sensor this year, right? At least from rumors. The gestures, I could care less. LG failed. Samsung did that in the S4. And it's just something that I want to see what they continue to do with voice. They're number one in voice. To me, if I'm Google, I want to be able to operate my phone fully with voice. Not just operate as in like a task, but give me more of that conversational where it becomes like a sci-fi movie to a certain degree. It's just not going to be fully that, but give me some of that. So I know that you're taking it to that step. Camera looks like it's going to be, just as good. Will they fix video?
And audio,
because we know that video and audio is just trash out the bat. My biggest complaint with the device, even though I am giving away 3 Pixel 3s right now, is the hardware for me is terrible.
Zach can tell you all about that.
I went through 3 trying to review, not even review, just to do my camera review with my photographer friend. We went through 3 Pixel 3 XLs.
You went 3. That's cute. I bought 7. Two XLs, the Panda. 7 because of that damn blue screen. Watch my video. It's one of my biggest videos.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You brought 7 Pixel 2.
I saw the blue screen. I did a Instagram unboxing and I wasn't even looking at it, and I saw somebody go like, "You got blue screen? You got the blue screen, man." I was like,
once you see it, you can't unsee it. I ruined
oh snap.
I ruined that phone for so many people. I was still selling accessories at the time, and I'd go into a dealer and I'd be like, "Yeah, you should check out your blue screens." This Bell guy had 14 on the wall, 14 in stock. He got rid of all. He returned them all to Bell and to Google. You could sell it. He's like, I can't unsee this now.
So Andrew, we know that the Pixel's adding a second camera this year. So what do you think they're gonna be able to do with that second lens finally?
I don't know, but I mean, obviously they were able to do some amazing stuff with one lens. So
exactly right. Yep.
I'm hoping to see. I mean, I'm assuming it's gonna be an ultra wide camera as well.
So I saw a rumor that it's telephoto though.
Oh, telephoto. Okay, hey, even if it's telephoto, I mean, imagine what they've been able to do with one camera portrait mode. versus what they'll be able to do with 2 cameras. Like I feel like they've got. I can't even imagine. Like we've seen the rumors of the sport mode where like it'll do like the super fast shutter. So if you're in the middle of throwing a football, you won't have any blur at all in your picture. Like that's amazing. No other camera can do that right now. Smartphone cameras. So I don't know what we can expect other than it'll be good.
Oh yeah.
My hope is just battery life, and because the battery life on the XL was also terrible. Battery life and just better hardware build. My hardware, like USB Type-C port, didn't work. I was getting dust in there, and because usually my photographer friend will take the phone out to go kite surfing. And people were yelling at me. He's like, he took it out to the sea. I was like, he took the OnePlus 6T. It's not even rated. Okay.
Yeah.
And that survived. So I'm sorry. These guys made a terrible product.
Do you guys see them putting the headphone jack back in the 4 or 4XL, or do you think they'll save that for the A series?
A series.
Yeah.
A series. My question to you guys is, how well do you think this device will sell?
Which one?
Not very well.
The Pixel 4.
Pixel 4.
If Pixel 4, okay, so it's not going to be, I know John, and he's proved this as well, Prosser, about compromise or anything like that. And we see that today with Apple's pricing. I think Apple, even for their XL model, they need to come under the Apple price in order to be able to sell. Not necessarily
the 11. That's the
not the 11, not under the Pro one, under the Pro price.
They need to offer 256 gigabyte standard and not 64. Like that alone would just
64 is embarrassing. Yeah,
that's just come on.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Come on.
So to answer the original question, though, I think it's going to sell a lot better than it had done in years past, just for the simple fact that it's now available on all carriers. It's no longer a Verizon exclusive, so it's going to sell more automatically.
I didn't think about the carrier thing. You're right. Yeah.
No, necessary though. Remember, it's about what your carriers are pushing, right?
Yeah.
And somebody had this discussion earlier. It says when most consumers walk into the store, they're looking for either an iPhone or Galaxy.
Yeah.
That's already the mindset in there, right?
True, but unlike our LG friend, Google they have no problem marketing the hell out of that Pixel.
Well, Google normally puts a display in, at least they have here in Canada, where they'll have the Pixel and then the XL, then they'll have one of their speakers or anything like that. So it looks very Apple-ish with the white background to get people's attention. But from what the dealers and carriers up here tell me is people walk in and they recognize the Google name, but they don't know what they're looking at. Like they don't understand yet still from a general perspective that Google makes a phone. Yeah. Because they think of search engine, they think of maybe the Google Doc stuff. So they need to get that across if they continue to do these displays.
No, what I'm saying, no, they're gonna put that thing all over TV though. They're gonna be on TV.
Oh no, they'll do but so will Samsung, so will Apple. Plus the other thing too is in the US, I know carriers here, it's all about selling accessories, right?
Yep.
They make a lot of money from selling you a bunch of stuff in the stores. What 2 devices sell you the most accessories?
Oh God. I mean, but that's easy because those are the 2 that have the most accessory form, though.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't know how. I'll tell you this. So, let me ask you guys this: in the United States, like different carriers, AT&T, Verizon, whatever, can you buy Apple OEM accessories, or do you have to go to the Apple Store?
Apple Store.
You have to. Like, there's no carriers that carry OEM.
Not cases anyway. No.
Okay, so here in Canada, Apple just started selling this They started in the spring selling OEM accessories to the carriers through the distributors. So they're working with a distributor called Cesium and one called Hitfar. Okay, one's on the Montreal, one's in Burnaby, and man, they it's expensive. And when I was selling this stuff for one of the distributors, I would go in and the thought process was this: Zach, we can put 5 OtterBox SKUs on the wall and they'll move every day. If I put these silicone cases on the wall here, they'll sit there for a week, and it's true. So it's a nice way to get some people, but man, it's better off at the store. So what I'm trying to say is the accessories may sell well, but the carriers don't want to carry them because they can make more profit by selling 1 OtterBox SKU or 2 OtterBox SKUs than selling 1 silicone case. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like I know T-Mobile. You walk in, T-Mobile now sells. They sell speakers. There's all sorts of stuff in there, and they want to sell that with your Galaxy or your iPhone. They get a new JBL speaker for the summer. You got kids. Da da da. Yeah, iPhone speakers are great, but you can blow it up, and you've got, like you said, the OtterBox case, or all these different things. So they want that business of adding all these extras in there, for you. So, again, Pixel doesn't have that. But I think the Pixel 4 might be that it's the 4th year, so that might be that year of change where people now go, oh, okay, so this is the Google phone that we can.
Yeah, I think the name's out there enough now that people recognize and everything like that, right? They know what a Pixel is. I
don't think it's there yet. No, I don't think it's there.
Well, the Google name is there, but I don't know about the Pixel name.
No.
I don't know, man. If they're watching enough tech YouTube, they always hear people gushing about the camera every year. So
no, but that's tech YouTube though. That's not to Andrew's point. It's not the average consumer. The average consumer knows that the Galaxy. Yeah, sure. Even they may even know an LG. They know LG phones. Even forget whether LG's doing well or not. They know those phones, right? Motorola, no matter how bad it's doing, is still well known. It's the reason why Verizon carries that phone. It sells well for them. It sells really well, even though it's not a massive seller, but it's still a good prime. So that's what they need to get into. And if you're a T-Mobile customer, at least OnePlus has made that penetration in there.
Wait. Time out, E. Are you trying to tell me that you believe that LG is more well-known right now than the Google Pixel line?
Yeah.
Oh,
LG has
totally.
history. It just has history. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what phone it is. It has history. There's a reason why there's a Stylo 3 or 4.
When I was selling
a phone that really shouldn't be out there. It's not even close to being an S Pen competitor.
When I was selling cell phones back in 97, 98, 99, man, I'm old. When I was running a store, I sold so many LG flip phones. Like the LG, I remember the model LG TM520. Do you guys remember that? It was silver with kind of a green screen flip phone. LG TM520. Do a Google on it. LG TM520. I sold so many of those.
Man, I'm not talking about LG of the 90s. I know LG was the thing back in the 90s.
We're talking about name and staying power. Do you know what I mean? Like people know that name, they know that logo.
Oh, right. I know that. But I'm talking about like as far as who's selling more phones now. I think Google probably selling more than LG.
No, LG can take a hike, yeah.
Yeah, LG.
No, maybe not though.
Not on a global basis.
Not on a global basis. Not even a total cachet. Remember, they sell a lot. I just mentioned the Stylo. They released the Stylo 3. Why? I don't know, but it's out there because
my aunt has a Stylo and it's terrible. It's terrible.
There you go. See, that's just a prime example of why.
I'm like, why did you get this? Well, it said LG and it was free on a contract. And I'm like, Kathy, why didn't you just come to me and steal one of my phones? Like,
it's the same reason Motorola is still there, right? They still make phones, so they have to break that. Like I said, they have to break that hurdle.
Yeah.
And you've got OnePlus, where yes, OnePlus is still not widely known, but T-Mobile has made OnePlus the new sidekick. They needed that new device that would take that younger demographic, what the sidekick was, and that's what the OnePlus has done.
She says to me, it has a status just like your Note, and I'm like, this is not a Note. This is what it was like long, like it was terrible.
Yeah, I think T-Mobile and OnePlus are doing big things, and they're gonna only continue to do bigger things moving forward. All right, but anyway, I think we've been here long enough. I know it looks like Andrew and E are probably got other things going on. They look like they got things to do, and we've been here 2 hours, so I'm gonna put the kibosh on this one. Just so you guys know, I will be back tomorrow with my official recap of the Apple event. Do another podcast tomorrow morning, probably around 9-10 o'clock Central. So be on the lookout for that. But shout out to my man Andrew and E and Zach for joining me on the podcast tonight. Zach, thanks for the candid talk at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I'm really glad we could hash this out like gentlemen. And again, I apologize if I came in hot. We're good. I'm not gonna edit anything. Yeah.
Did I miss some beef?
A little beef. Yeah.
Oh, E, where were you? E, where were you, bro?
I switched it on, and everyone was having a calm conversation about Apple. I was like, I was jump in and mess this up.
I got into my feelings. It got real for a bit. It was just It was about the type of marketing when it came to the watch and people telling their stories. I felt from a personal standpoint, because of what I've been through this year, from a health perspective, although I am down 60 pounds, that
Good stuff, man.
thanks, man. That I felt the way they presented the stories, it felt like a scare tactic. But I understand the emotional impact you want to make. It makes sense. But for me, I wouldn't say I felt like I was attacked. I was just like, I don't need to watch to make myself healthy. I had a wake up call in January and then again in March. And then, I almost died again in June, right. So, that's why and then Viper did his video and I'm like, he's talking about me. Right.
And Viper, you insensitive, man. You try to be like me now. What's wrong with you?
I said some stupid. I wouldn't say stupid things. I went off a little bit in the comment section in his video. But we got on here, we hashed it. We're buds, and it was just a passionate differing of opinions. I think.
All right. Yeah, basically, we just agree about the way Apple presented the Apple Watch presentation, their marketing today. Basically.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, when this replay goes up, you can go back watch like the first 20, 25 minutes of the podcast. It's all there for you.
Yeah.
You're representing like Birdman. You ready to roll?
Look me up. We'll talk. It'll be fun. Yeah. It's great meeting you, though, man. It was great.
Likewise, man.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah. No doubt. But thank you guys for watching in the live stream tonight. I have no idea how I'm going to actually divvy this up to an audio only thing, but I'll figure that out at some point. I guess at some point. But anyway, we out of here. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Thank you, Vipe Nation. You guys are the best. But until the next time, people, this your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more.